After weeks, it's the Tuesday show. My name's Ultra David.
I'm James Chen. Let us all know in the chat if everything is sounding good and everything, if everything is correct.
Sorry for being late, but I forgot that in LA, Thursday's like the night that everybody's out. It's just the worst traffic.
It's the worst. It's
the worst. I don't know why, but it is. And
I know why.
Why?
It's statistically the day that it's least likely for people to take off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why Rideshare Thursday and all that stuff like that, because people will take Monday off, they will take Friday off to make them 3-day weeks.
Okay.
Wednesday, they kind of get over the hump, right?
Huh.
And Tuesday is still close enough at the beginning that it shortens the rest of the week. But Thursday, you're so close to the weekend already that there's no point to take off Thursday.
All right. I guess.
That's what I was told.
I mean, that seems like a good enough explanation to me. So anyway, I forgot that it's Thursday. I left at normal Tuesday time, and that did not work out.
Yeah.
So my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Anyway, let's since we haven't done this in a couple of weeks, we're going to go through old tournament results over here. But more pressingly, we're going to go over the EVO numbers, which are out, the entrance numbers and so forth.
Right.
We have a 5-5 matchup that we're going to discuss, and that may be it. So
well, the EVO deep dive might take some time.
It definitely might
take some time.
Definitely.
So we'll talk about this a little bit because obviously EVO is the big event of the year. It's coming up very soon. We'll have our special pre-EVO Tuesday show at one point in time when we get all these people to come and talk about the games and the storylines and everything like that. But registration is now officially closed.
Yes! That is correct. If you didn't register for EVO 2019, sorry.
Peace.
You cannot get in. It's over. Look, they gave you a pretty big window to do that in, so...
Yeah.
Come on.
But dude, there's going to be so many people emailing Wizard anyway. I forgot to register.
He is getting 1,000 of those every day.
I mean, after registration closed, I saw Gibby tweet. I was like, I forgot to register for some reason. I was like, come on, Gibby, really?
I saw, I don't know if he was being serious, but I saw Ruin tweet that, and I don't think Ruin's joking about that.
Yeah, I
don't think
and he lives in Vegas, too.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, oh, come on.
So, it is done. Now...
So that means the numbers are available.
The numbers are indeed available. Do you want to screen-size these things?
Oh, sure.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I'm sorry. I don't have the thing all ready to go. Docs. That's what it is. Docs.
Correct.
Google.com. This is Ultra Chin. Oh, here we go. It looks different than it did before.
Kind of does. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's very odd. And did you link it here?
Yeah, it's right there. Right there.
There.
Game entries. Right above that.
All right, for months and months and months, Wizard has been teasing, of like what's in the lead, what's going on over here, and all this other stuff. And now finally with it's time to find out exactly what they are. Sorry, I'm talking while I'm trying to do this at the same time, so my speech is staggered. You're just sitting here enjoying this too, I think.
All right, here we go. So these are the final numbers. Now I'm sure everybody's already seen it, but we're going to talk a lot about it. So it's good that we have it up here. No surprise, and it had been in front. We all knew it would happen.
Right,
Smash Ultimate has the most. 3,500 just about. So there was speculation that maybe it would beat Street Fighter V's record of over 5,000. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, at 3,500, I think that's the second highest ever, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, I'm surprised it wasn't closer.
I'm
actually kind of surprised.
I wouldn't say that I'm surprised that it didn't reach 5,000, but I didn't think it would make 5,000. That wasn't my guess.
Okay.
But I did think that it would, probably be the closest thing to it that's happened since.
Right,
I think I expected that it would get the second most overall ever. And it definitely did. So I think that's cool. And if you count up the previous Smash 4 plus Smash Melee last year does not reach the total of Smash.
Oh, really?
Of Smash Ultimate. this
So
year.
last year, the two combined together were not 3,500, huh?
Correct.
Oh, dang. I did not realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For sure.
stuff.
It was Melee had 1,353 and Smash Ultimate had 1,355. So no.
Thank you, Waz. He
They did
says we are his favorite talk show hosts.
Dang, what a nice fella.
He is our favorite airport MK11 competitor.
That was hilarious. Yeah. Yeah. So no, it does not. This is like definitely the biggest of any Smash event, but it's not just that. It's in combination. They would not have had as many entrants as Smash Ultimate.
That's
has.
really crazy. So, but I mean, good job to Smash Ultimate. I mean, no shock at all that they're killing the numbers this year. They did say that this is the largest now non-Evo Smash tournament, or is this the largest Smash tournament ever?
It's the largest Smash tournament ever.
Ever, yeah. Okay, so it's like the largest everything for most of these games, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, I think if you're thinking about like how many people entered the kind of nationwide thing that they did, that maybe that number is greater, but it's not all at one time. It's kind of a different thing. Mm-hmm. If you look at 2016. The combination of the two games, Melee and Smash 4, does actually eclipse 3,500. It comes out to about 5,000.
Okay, gotcha.
Still.
Yeah.
All right. 3,500 is a tremendous amount. That's super cool. I'm stoked about that. I really enjoy watching the game, and it's the game we all thought would be number one.
Yeah.
No surprise.
I mean, that'll definitely set some questions about Sunday order, which we've talked about in previous episodes. We're going to talk about a little bit again now that we have numbers and everything. But the interesting part was that the second game had been shifting back and forth. Tekken and Street Fighter had been jumping back and forth, and I have it on good information that at one point they were like 4 games apart or something like that. Wow. So they had been fighting back and forth for the longest of time. But it looks like Street Fighter pulled ahead a little bit at the very end.
Right.
And it's still number 2.
Still number 2.
With 1,929, which is kind of impressive. Like, I would not have expected it to get up to 2,000 again. I just didn't expect it to happen.
Well, it didn't, I guess, to be technical about it. But,
right, yeah.
But very close. So it's a drop of about, 450? Mm-hmm. Maybe about 500 from the previous year. And that's substantial. That's not nothing. But it's still great.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's still almost 2,000 people is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, it's just a sign that this game is still going strong, that a lot of people are still playing it. And I know there's a lot of talks about, it's on the way out, it's not as popular, the viewer numbers. Did you see Offcast's video by any chance?
I did.
Offcast Lewis, basically, former SoCal resident, has been putting a lot of good analysis videos on like Evo numbers and stuff like that, and he did one on Street Fighter V. And is it dying? Is the viewership bad? And it's actually showing that it's pretty steady.
It's pretty stable.
Now. Yeah, it's very stable. So.
Yeah. Now it's to be expected. I feel that it would drop off a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
That's mostly what happens. It's not categorically what happens. We'll talk about Tekken shortly, but that's like mostly what happens. So it seems reasonable to me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool to see that it's still up there. So, yeah. Especially with no announcements and nothing in the season, right? I mean, the numbers might be better if we already knew some new characters were coming or something like that. Or just
at least what their plans were, as we've talked about, right? Just a little bit.
Exactly.
But we don't have anything like that. So I'm still happy about that. As somebody who really likes the game, I think that's cool. Again, not surprised that it dropped off a little bit. That's how games typically go.
Yeah.
It's all good. But one game that bucked that trend.
And has been. For like the last 6 years or so, or 5 years.
Yeah, I got the numbers here. Tekken 7 has increased its numbers yet again to have 1,885. So it's third overall. Last year it was 1,543. In 2017 it was 1,286. In 2016 it was 550. Although that might have been...
That was still one of the arcade versions.
Yeah, that was before it came out on console.
Yeah.
So once it came out on console,
remember Markman kept getting it in there as like a little sidey, guesty kind of game, right? But I mean, imagine. I remember when it got to 1,200. Remember how excited we were? Like, Tekken's back. It's over 1,000. It's so cool, and it keeps growing.
It keeps growing.
1,885, so almost 1,900.
It's so cool. I mean, this is something that we discussed when that first occurred, but it just feels right for Tekken to be like one of the main games of the FGC. Because for a long period of time, it wasn't, right? I don't really know what happened, I guess, but yeah, well, I mean, during 6, during Tag 2.
Yeah, and 5, I mean, it just kind of tapered off, and, you know, a lot of it, everybody, it's so interesting to me now, because when you talk to everybody, what's that on the screen? What is that? Oh, that's the wire of this, okay. But, like when you talk to everybody, everyone's always like, Tekken is the most hype game to watch. It's so fun to watch. It's so great. It's like one of the most enjoyable to watch, blah, 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 and all this stuff like that. And it's such a turnaround from what it used to be.
Yes.
And again, I give all the credit to Bandai Namco.
Sure.
They did a fantastic job. The game is beautiful. They added characters from other games to make people like, oh, it's Akuma, I recognize him. It's Geese, I recognize him.
100%.
Hey, it's Negan, I recognize him, you know, and just all the things. I know I've talked about this. I swear I want to do like a college course on it, but just like all the stuff they did with the slow motions, the better KOs,
Beautiful.
just the zoom ins on the counter hits, and just the black and white on the trades and everything.
Cool.
Like all the little touches that they did. And every game needs to like look at that and realize how much those things change the pace of the viewers aspect and make it so that it's enjoyable for them to watch as well. But I mean, the slow motions is the most genius part.
Just amazing.
It's,
it's so sick.
Yeah, presentation is so huge. So it's so. I mean, it's true. Markman said that Tekken kind of used to be of the joke of Evo. I wouldn't call it the joke of Evo, but I mean, that was when I took naps. That's when I went and ate. Like honestly, that's
me too. You weren't the only one.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
In 2013, it had 358. I forget which iteration of the game that was. Whatever.
Right.
Tekken. Then in 2014, it had 258. 258.
Yeah.
Way. I mean, now it's 1885. It's such a different story. Such a different story.
Yeah, and I'm really happy for it because I really feel like Tekken, they've done such, like the franchise itself, what Harada has done, what Markman has done, what Murray has done, like what they've all done for the game, the developers and everything. Like, I'm so happy to see it succeed this way because it's one of those things that shows that if you take time and care and interact with the community, fix the input delay, like the instant people announce it, etc., etc., you know, if you do all those things, the game grows and people appreciate the support and stuff. And to see it succeed means that, yes, we are rewarding companies for doing good things and doing the right things instead of, oh, look, we put all this effort and we're not rewarded. You know, I'm glad to see that it's rewarded this way.
I definitely agree. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, that's very exciting. And then in, what is it? We're not fourth Samurai
place.
Showdown with 1,719. That's awesome.
I would not have guessed.
Okay.
Like, I saw that it was coming, you know, during the post that Wizard would put out, it was listed as fourth. But I thought all the fourth games would be more towards the close to the 1,000 mark.
Right. So, yeah, I remember us talking about this. Everybody thought Smash would be number one, and then you figured Street Fighter V and Tekken would be at about the same spot, and then we figured, like, there's a drop.
That's the drop right there.
The drop.
Yeah. But Samurai Showdown is literally, like, less than 200 under Tekken 7. Now, I think this kind of goes to the credit of it being part of the roster before it was released. This is what happened with Street Fighter V. Remember that the registration went out before the game was released. Everybody went in there and signed up for it. Then the game came out, and they were like, "Where's arcade mode?" And like, what is going on?
And then the pools. I was talking with somebody who said that they had to win one match in order to get out of their pool.
Yeah, exactly.
So not everybody showed up for the tournament. Is the point?
So the question is, you know, like what I would really like to see is how the pace of entrance for this game changed.
Yeah, that would be cool.
When the game came out.
That's interesting.
Like, what's interesting to me, though, is after it did come out, I don't feel like it lost any steam. Like, I felt like it was still there. And I feel like a lot of the credit comes down to the fact that, you know, I've said this on Twitter a bunch of times, I feel like this is a great side game. Like, this
I
is
agree
the
with that.
perfect side game.
I definitely
right?
think you can do that.
You don't need to learn a lot of frame data. You don't need to study a lot of like crazy things in order to be strong in the game. A lot of it can be based off of instinct and just your fundamentals.
It's definitely that.
And so you don't have to like, I need to study all these matchups. Although people are getting way more detailed with the game.
No, I mean,
now.
there's going to be tech naturally. Yeah.
But I think that's what it is, and we'll show this later on when we go through some of the stats that have been generated. But it is one of the most crossover entrants with a lot of other games, and I think that's going to benefit it a lot.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things about it though is that it has just brought out so many old school players.
That's awesome.
Like Henry Sen is like playing all the time there. Like Vi's been winning Wednesday. Andy OCR showed up to Wednesday Night Fights and got third place.
Wow.
Playing this game.
I guess that's old school.
Yeah, I mean...
No, I take your point.
Street Fighter 4 players are veterans
it's
now.
Awesome.
Okay, okay. And so, Wednesday Night Fights, like one of my favorite things I commentated recently with Grand Finals was Alex Vi versus Kizzy K. When have we ever had Alex Vi versus Kizzy K?
You're right. It's a good crossover game.
It's a lot of kind of what was happening with Dragon Ball. Remember when Dragon Ball came out and we were getting this cool crossover thing? We're like, Sonic Fox and Goichi, they've never played against each other. And, I feel like we're getting a lot of that in Sam's show. So I'm super excited for this.
That's
and
great.
No t-shirt. And it still got 1,700.
So it's the most entered SNK game ever at Evo.
Yeah. Before that was KOF.
Or just tournament ever, I guess. Yeah.
Before that was KOF 13, but there was also that My t-shirt that everybody wanted.
Yeah, speaking of a tournament where not everybody actually showed up for pools, we're talking about that for SF5 in year one. That is a major instance of it as well.
No, 100% Street Fighter 4 players are OG now. I always remember
they are.
You give the example that Street Fighter 4 players have been in the FGC longer than when Street Fighter 4 came out and you were making fun of them. You were in the FGC shorter period of time at that point.
Now it's by a lot because that was 11 years ago. 2008. Okay, so I had only been in the FGC for 6 years.
Right.
For sure, they're way more. There's no doubt. There's no doubt they're old school. I'm just messing around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then after that you have.
The other thing I will say about, because we're getting to MK11, I also think Samurai Showdown benefits a little bit from the Asian market and a little bit more of the worldwide, because I think they had the second most Asian players playing the game. I think that's what the stats. We'll take a look at that. And then there's Mortal Kombat in 5th place with 1,567.
Now this is the most entered tournament for an NRS game ever, and then therefore for a Mortal Kombat game. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the scene are super stoked at the numbers. You look at the crossover, and it's better than it has been at times in the past for NRS games, which is also great to see. You're right that it's not going to get the same international play.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like a lot of people have actually tried to say that MK11 is like dead on arrival or whatever. It's like, dude, it's 1,500.
There's 1,500
people a long time ago. When you got 1,500 people, it was like, what?
You didn't get 1,500 people a long time.
Your brain exploded, right? So it's really cool, and it just doesn't get the player base from Asia and from countries where it's just literally banned, right? So the fact that it is at 1,500, sure, it's the number one selling video game of 2019, and so you feel like, but it's so hard to convert those numbers to people actually going to tournaments and stuff like that.
And to be fair, I think that they've done a better job of it than has typically been the case. Like in 2015, when MKX came out, 1,167. 400 people more. Exactly 400 more entrants, in fact.
Really?
Which is
That's funny.
For MK11.
Okay.
And in 2012, 293. It's a totally different story for the MK scene. And keep in mind, although EVO was smaller, still SF had 1,520. Like, there were still games that had lots of entrants. In 2015, Street Fighter had 2,200.
Sorry, I realized that this thing is actually blocking that now. So we didn't actually see that. It's an OG Geek. Thank you very much.
Dang.
I'll do the...
There you go. So the point is that Mortal Kombat is entered more now than it ever has been. The growth is substantial.
Yes.
It's a lot compared to the last Mortal Kombat. It's hard to compare all the NRS games because although Injustice sells great, it just doesn't have the same scene. It just is a fact that it doesn't. So Injustice, when Injustice 2 came out, it had 880. It's never reached 1,000.
Right.
Although Mortal Kombat now has a couple of times. So that's not a good comparison. You got to look at the MK of the previous iteration, which is MKX, and that is, like we said, 400 fewer people that time compared to this time.
Right.
So there's a lot of growth. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I think it's I'm excited for MK11 this year at EVO.
Me too.
I think it's going to be one of the
stoked.
more hyped tournaments. So and I hope people, also who aren't big into MK sit down and watch it and really give it a shot and stuff.
I mean, I've had the same conversation with people that I have every time there's a Mortal that comes out, which is that, I like the gameplay, but... Well, there's two sides. One, I don't like the gameplay. The other is, I like the gameplay, but it's too gross.
Right.
And they doubled down on it this time, and it's grosser than ever. And those people who would, think about doing it, they're definitely not.
Yeah, but the thing, too, is that what a lot of people on the other side... So if you don't like the gross thing, there's nothing we can do.
For sure.
And more power to you to not want to watch it.
Yeah,
right?
I get it.
Absolutely. But if it's a gameplay thing, I hope you really take the time to... do give it a shot and watch it, because even people that I've talked to who don't like NRS gameplay in the past have admitted every time they watch it, they're like, yeah, it does seem more footsie based. It does seem more neutral based, and it absolutely is. You're not going to just
it confirms they're more doable.
Yeah, you're not going to see the crazy vortexy kind of things that were in previous MK games. So definitely. If you're okay with the grossness, which you shouldn't be, but if you can put up with it to watch a good game,
I'm in the I put up with it camp.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
It's not what I want, but there you go. Anyway, Mortal Kombat. So then in 6th place, I guess if there's any spot where there's a slight drop off, it's here, where there's about 400 dropping off.
Right. And yes, Wizard accidentally listed them backwards over here. By the way, keep in mind.
So I didn't get confirmation as to what this was supposed to be. Is this supposed to be that Under Night actually has fewer than Dragon Ball?
Yes,
or did he get the game names?
No, I think it was actually fewer, because I think Markman tweeted it out as
did
well.
He? Okay, I didn't see that.
He had it that Dragon Ball was above it.
Okay.
But then I think it was Ringe that we were talking to. When we were at we were in Alaska this last week,
right? Okay,
and he was excited for Dragon Ball Fighters, but we all kept making fun of him because Eunice had more entries.
Oh, I
because
see.
Of the
Okay.
And he was like, "Come on!" And so 3 of us all tweeted out, "I can't believe Eunice has more entrants there," and tagged Ringe on there, and he was like, "Come on, guys,
gang it up, huh?"
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So all right, the next game is Dragon Ball then.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball with 1,191.
Yes, and this is probably the most significant drop-off.
This is the most significant drop-off, no doubt. No doubt about it. In fact, it's the only... Well, maybe Street Fighter has a drop-off, but in terms of the substantial drop-off, last time Dragon Ball was 2,575. So
this is even more...
1,191.
This is a over 50%
over 50% drop. Yeah, that is a big drop.
Yeah.
This is the only game that I think you could have a conversation of what's going on.
Right.
For Street Fighter V to drop down 400, you expect games to go down. I would have expected Dragon Ball to go down regardless. But to go down this much is maybe a different question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this was a game that when it came out was super hype. I forget, was this one out already? No, it was out before the registration. Yeah. Because
in January of last year. You got catted.
I'm getting catted. She's just clawing at my pants for no reason.
Oh man, all right.
But Dragon Ball, obviously had a lot of the hype. Everybody was going into it really excited about it. And, I'm not sure exactly what happened. I feel like maybe the gameplay just didn't pan out for a lot of people out there. But like I said, a lot of the diehard fans out there still excited for the game, still over 1,000, and it's really, really cool. So
sure, yeah. I mean, look, it's not... We talked about this. It's not a game that I particularly like, but I certainly know lots of people who do like the game, and that's great. So I'm happy for them that it didn't, although it dropped off substantially, it is not in the doldrums. There are still almost 1,200 people who signed up to play the game from all over the world. And that's I think still really great.
Yeah, I remember when we just talked about it earlier. When Tekken first reached 1,200, we were like, "Oh my god!" Right? Oh shoot.
Thank you to A2 Brandon for the sub.
Yeah, I guess I didn't lower this far enough. Where is the thing? That's weird. It should have been under that. I should have been able to see that. I don't know why we didn't see it. Oh well, whatever.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. Anyways, it should have popped up on top, but whatever. But yeah, so. But yeah, no, it's. I'm still happy for them to get over 1,000 entrants here. So.
Yeah, and things are still happening in that game. There's still a couple characters that haven't yet come out, so there's still new developments in it. And from what I've talked with people who have continued to watch and play the game, it has changed.
Yes, yeah.
So if you watched at Evo last year, it's not going to be the same game that it is this time at Evo. So you should check it out.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. The one thing that I think that might have actually hurt it a little bit was just the lack of tour news, and that kind of thing, because a lot of people are kind of frustrated with the tour this year. I think one of the main events was announced like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the event happened and stuff. So I know a lot of people are frustrated with that. So even from a casual standpoint and on the pro standpoint, like it's harder to keep track with the game and stuff. So it's interesting how I feel like the tours actually do help a lot for the game.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So there's Dragon Ball, and then while that may not be the best news for Dragon Ball, although like I said, I still think good. 1,200 people almost. For Eunice, it is super amazing and awesome.
Yes.
That it got 1,156. Thank you for the bits.
Woo! From Ernesto, thank you.
That is super awesome that it's at 1156.
1156.
I mean that's just gigantic compared to what has. I mean, it hasn't come before, but compared to like when there had been tournaments for the game.
I know. Last year it was capped at 256.
Yeah.
And it filled out almost instantly. Then at Combo Breaker, it reached it grew like every tournament, everywhere. And then there was the Climax of Night event where it became its own, where it was the main game of its own thing. And man, it's so funny too because you remember Unio. Mm-hmm. It was we've came up with an excuse every week on the Tuesday show to talk about Unio.
We did
because we love the game
awesome
so
game,
much.
Yeah.
And it kills me that I'm not playing Eunice right now, but it's just there's too many damn games.
There are too many games.
And but the fact that it grew this much year after year, and to the point where when it got added to Evo. The best part about it was, it's like everyone's like, all right, well, it's at EVO, so what is this game really all about? Yep. And they played it, and then they realized it's like the greatest game ever.
Like, that's not... I almost want like some study to prove that happened, because there's like so much anecdotal evidence that I've heard of people being like, oh, I just found out about this game. It's at EVO? Like people in the FGC. I just heard about this. Right. How's this? Uh-huh. Or, yeah, I've heard about this game. I never looked into it, but it's at EVO, so okay, I'll check it out. I knew a lot of people who did that. Double digits of people who did that. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that many other people know the same. So I think that's very, very cool. However you got into it, whether you're somebody who got into it after it was announced for EVO, or if you have been playing it or whatever, you should be really excited to have that many players. That's amazing.
80 Solo.
Oh, what
up? For the subscription.
How's it going out there? Can you just maybe lift the thing up a little bit?
Well, I mean, there's even supposed to be... Oh, do I not have an animation for the sub? I thought we did. I thought that I had, like, your Kisses fingertips for the sub.
That I don't
know. I can...
just like maybe who cares that it's Mr. Wizard. Yeah, there you
go. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, and I even said it too, before the games were even announced. I was like, if Guilty Gear was going to get sacrificed for Unio, I would be totally down for it. And honestly, if Guilty Gear were in the lineup, I don't think it would have gotten 1,000 entrants. And so the fact that we have Unio here, I didn't think Eunice was going to get 1,000 entrants, but the fact that it did, it just makes it so that it's so obvious that that it was the right choice to do. So I'm so happy for this game.
It's awesome.
I'm like, this is the story of the game that could.
Yeah.
If you are a community out there and you're always like, oh, well, you know what, our game can't, like these tournaments aren't supporting our game. You support the game yourself. I mean, Evo, like the boon here, like obviously being at Evo makes a difference, but they only made it into Evo because they just did a good job as a community.
Yeah. There had been momentum building.
Right. It had been going up at every major tournament.
Right.
So, it's just the blueprint that you got to go to. It's positivity, and you have a good game, and you're promoting it, and you're doing a good job promoting it, and here we are. So.
Very, very cool.
She's staring at me.
I don't know.
She's going to sleep now here.
Aw, that's a good kitty. So then there's another drop-off, and you get down to Soul Calibur 6 at 742. When Calibur was last at EVO, it was 2012, and there were 417.
Right.
So this is the biggest Soul Calibur tournament at EVO.
And a lot of people are saying, 742? Psh, there's nobody playing this game. This game is dead. Blah, blah. 742 players.
Come on.
742 players for Soul Calibur 6. The
Yeah.
largest Soul Calibur tournament ever.
Right.
And, we'll get into... I mean, you probably have some information on the stats on your page right now, but the fact that the second to last game is 700 is pretty ridiculous.
It is definitely... It's extremely awesome. Last time, the second to last game had 623. That was Gear.
Right.
And the last one was Injustice, which was 361. That was a tough year for Injustice 2 year 2. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's really great. In 27, in all the previous years, to be 700 plus does not mean you're second to last. It means you're one of the higher up games.
Someone even showed that if this was 2013, I think it was, then it would have been like the third place game or something like that. There was some stats
that's right.
about that.
Street Fighter would have been ahead and Marvel would have been ahead and nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So like
game.
you're gonna complain about 742 players for Soul Calibur 6, like it's a bad number.
I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm happy that it's that many. I love the game. It's something I've been talking about a lot.
Yeah.
I'm only not playing it because for some reason you're not playing Under Night. That there's just so many good games.
I kind of stopped on Soul Calibur 2 because of that. There's just too many games to play right now.
I definitely support the game. I'm very excited to watch it. I always watch it when it's on streams. I'm really looking forward to seeing it at EVO.
Yeah, and it's a tough thing because obviously it's just the comparison, right? You look at 742 and you look at these other numbers, but look, overall, the fighting game community is growing, right? I mean,
no
Tekken's
doubt.
growing. We got 3,500 for Smash, and Soul Calibur, even though it looks like a smaller number than everything else,
it is.
It's still 300 more than the previous. I mean, almost twice as big as the previous one. Previous was 400 something. Now it's 700. Yeah. So it's like a good 80% bigger or whatever. Am I doing my math right? Something like that. Yeah, something close like that. So, yeah, and exactly. It's weird to say it, but these are the biggest, smallest games of EVO.
Correct. So I don't know why he phrased it as BlazBlue : CTB because nobody calls it that, but BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
BB Tag.
BB Tag. Yeah. So this game. The stats that I've seen try to like put it in the BlazBlue line, and it's not really.
No,
it's like not really.
It's its own thing.
But it was at EVO last year, and it had 1,181, and I think so. So that is a drop off for sure, about 500. I think it's the same kind of thing as what you were mentioning with Samurai Shodown this year, where it came out after it was announced for EVO.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people were just like, yeah, I'll enter, it might be cool.
In case it comes out and it's awesome.
What if it's cool?
Yeah.
And then it came out, and a lot of people actually did like it. And it actually did get good numbers at a lot of tournaments. And, okay, cool. And, as with all games, you expect some level of downturn. But I think these numbers are still great.
Yeah.
This is the highest last placed game in EVO history.
Yeah, and honestly, the drop-off that it had... This is probably one of the only times I'll try to assign some sort of concrete blame.
Okay.
But I will blame Arxis a little bit for this
yeah.
because they announced the fifth Fate, and then they were like, here's these new characters coming in.
There's going to be a patch.
And then it just... nothing. And then we didn't even know what the fifth Fate was for the longest time. Then they finally announced everything, and they're like, but guess what? There's a sixth Fate now.
Yeah,
and then, I just feel like they've kind of handled that badly. And with all these new games coming out, if you're not that's why Street Fighter, to me, is amazing that it's still second place. Because for 6 months, we've gotten nothing from this game. So that's why I was expecting Street Fighter to drop to 1,500 or something like that. The fact that it's 1,900 is actually shocking to me. But I'm not surprised because that's the same kind of thing. I feel like that hurt BB Tag a little bit, and if they had just kept it up a little, I mean, we have a sixth Fate, and I don't know if anybody is even hype about it anymore. You know what I mean? Because it took so long for the fifth Fate to be announced. There's literally one character from it,
right?
And so it's like, okay, so you'll throw in Nakaruru, whatever, you know, and that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
I do agree that it was mishandled a bit. And as I mentioned before, I've known plenty of people who, and I did this to some degree as well, found out that there was going to be a big patch that was supposed to come out in like a couple of months or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, okay, well, we'll play other stuff, and then we'll come back to tag when the patch comes out. And the patch took like longer, and then in terms of actually getting the console, it like took longer.
Right.
And in the meantime, there's other stuff coming out.
MK11
came out. Caliber came out. Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
And there's just like a lot of stuff in the meantime. And so people dropped off and didn't come back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And again, wait, BB Tag Netplay got worse? I haven't heard about that. Someone in the chat says that, yeah.
Recently?
But I mean, again,
bummer.
I think the game is really, really great. Like, I think it's super fun. It's fantastic.
It's an awesome game, and I have put some time into it since the patch came out. And while I don't love some of the things that happened to my guys, it's all right. It's all right though. It's fine. The game is so explosive now that if you want that kind of fast gameplay, it's like the perfect choice. There's so many fast, interesting decisions to be made in that game. Mm-hmm. I really love the state of it. So look, although it has dropped off, it's definitely not true that it's dead.
David's BB Tag guy was a Waldstein and
Tager
Waldstein, and Waldstein assist got kind of
it's
butted, right?
Like absurdly slow.
Yeah, it's like
amazingly slow. But there's still a pretty good team. So yeah, it is a lot of fun. Oh, that's a good girl. She can fall asleep.
Yeah,
that's fine.
She's totally out.
I'm still really excited for that number. And again, that is the most entrants ever for the last placed entered game. Last year it was 361. That was for Injustice 2. KOF got 374 in 2017. 547 for KI in 2016. 398 for KI in 2015. I mean, etc. Typically it's 500 and below. 300
KI grew 1 year from 300 to 500, huh?
Yeah, KI grew.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
398 to 547. Well, that was when it came out of its beta phase,
that's
if you recall. It was finally launched
finally got released
on a
on
console
the PC.
people play, yeah.
On
the PC.
God.
What a good game. Anyway,
man.
so I'm still very happy for and excited for BB Tag.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of people have come out of the woodwork and have been like, look, Soul Calibur and BB Tag Melee would have had more entrants and stuff like that. And it's like...
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have, but
Probably.
It doesn't matter. Like, we need to have an opportunity to try to give some of these other game chances, right? You remember when Melee first was announced not to be in there, what was their comments? It's like, some Under Night game and some generic samurai game with 1700 and Under Night with, 1150, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, point taken. For example... Melee's last 2 years had fewer entrants than Showdown does this year. Right. I still wish that Melee was in this thing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I still wish it was here.
You just can't... Okay, so here's another thing that I'm going to mention, because I argue with this on people on Twitter all the time. They're just like, why can't EVO do the same thing that other tournaments do and just run 50 games, right? It's just, it can't, because it is the biggest tournament, right? Because people perceive EVO with a different set of glasses than they perceive all the other events, right? If you go to Combo Breaker and you're in the side room and you're streamed on Team Spooky instead of on their main streams or whatever like that, and you get 100 and some people, you're like, this is the most awesome thing, thank you. If you're at EVO... and you're not even on one of the main EVO streams, you don't get the EVO big stage, you're not officially one of the games or whatever like that, and you're off the side and it's someone like Team Spooky or Bifuteki or somebody streaming it, you're just going to be like, EVO's disrespecting our game, blah, 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 and everything. And so if they turn it into an official game, now you got to give it its own stage, its own stream time, you got to give all this stuff. And at EVO, if a game is, 100 and something at one tournament, at EVO, it could potentially be 250, 300 people.
Sure.
And that adds a whole new thing that you got to deal with. People have to understand that it's just not realistic to do it. And the fact that they're supporting Anime EVO and all the side tournaments so that they have an extra stream for the top... You are doing microphone noises.
Yeah, I think she is.
Yeah, the fact that you are actually... they're doing that, and they have medals.
Oh, that's a good girl. Oh, she's trying to cheek the mic. They are doing a lot.
they have medals. Wizard showed them the pictures of the community medals. I think that's super cool.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She's Cat is blocking the mic. Yeah,
That's very
if you guys are listening to this on the podcast and I got quieter, it's because the cat walked in front of the microphone and is blocking me.
Oh
right
man,
now.
that's great. That's great.
So
look, I would have loved to have seen Melee back. I get why it's not there. This is the perfect time to move on. There's a game that is out, that's new, that got the most entrants this year. That's Smash. Like this is, if there's any time to make that switch, it's right now.
Right.
And there's the extra burden of CRTs and so forth that they don't have to even think about now.
I asked Wizard that at one point. I was like, "How happy are you that you don't have to deal with CRTs anymore?" And it's just like they're so happy.
Do you think like Tony's gonna take a hammer to a CRT or something like that?
Like he did to the poor Dreamcast?
Like to the Dreamcast.
Dude? Oh my god. Jeez.
Oh man. So I understand it, but
Kitty. All right. Stop rubbing the mic. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give this cat a bath, and then I'm gonna sell Kitty bath water. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm 100% selling.
There's gonna be all hair
cat
and stuff.
bath water. There you go. Yeah. $100 a bottle, dude. $100 a bottle.
Well, there's the entrance numbers for all the games for Evo. Now, the total game registrations.
Shout outs to Shoegazer Jimmy.
Thank you.
Also thank him as well for later on in the stream we will be giving away a $25 PSN gift card.
Sweet.
So you guys do not want to miss that.
So there are 1,000... No, I'm sorry. That's actually the wrong way to start this. There are 14,369 game registrations.
Wow.
Yeah.
14,000.
14,000 in 2012, and I felt it was huge.
Wait, hang on a second. Before you say that, does that mean unique registrations?
No, that's game registrations.
That's game, so that counts people signing up for more than one game. Okay,
Correct.
Okay.
In 2012, it was 4,989. What a huge difference.
So in less than 10 years, it's gone up by 10,000
in 7 years.
In 7 years.
Game registrations.
That's crazy.
Now, in terms of overall humans, players, the total this year is 9,173.
We're almost at 10,000
Almost
plays.
at 10,000 uniques.
I mean, the only year that might have been bigger was the Street Fighter 5 year because there was 5,000 already in there. But that one, I don't even know if you'd count because a lot of people didn't actually do any.
So in that year, this is an interesting thing to point out. Number of overall, of individual unique players, 9,899, so actually more.
Right, yeah.
But in terms of total game registrations, 14,808, so a little bit more, 500 more.
Right.
So a little bit more in both cases.
Yeah, but again, that year was like the absolute anomaly. Right?
Yeah, again, not all of those humans actually showed up to the pools anyway.
That year is an anomaly. It messes up a lot of the trends, but if you kind of ignore that year, you will see the actual trends. Because like literally the graph is like, and then point, and then back down.
And back down to basically the same curve it was on as well. So it's not like it got reset in some negative way. Right. It's on the same positive growth curve.
Yeah, but there is definitely... Yes, there is over 9,000 people, so it's really crazy, and it's exciting to see, and it's why I argue with a lot of people that I still feel like, Evo's so important
to
the game scene, to the FGC, and the growing pains are there. I actually honestly feel like Evo has officially kind of reached this really, really awkward space where it's like so big that it's hard to make everybody there's so many different audiences to serve that there's going to be people who are not going to enjoy Evo as much as they have before. Like, they don't treat the Super Turbo scene. They don't treat the Marvel scene. Blah, blah, blah. But they're still small enough that they don't have the funds to be able to make it...
To do everything.
Yeah, to do the bigger stuff. You know what I mean? Because it's still a grassroots tournament. And people still completely undersell how much it actually, costs to run the thing.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So what I mean by grassroots is that it's completely funded by itself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not some big. Well, they have sponsors. Okay.
Yeah.
They do.
But it's not investors.
Yes.
They're not.
Correct.
Investors aren't giving them money and hoping for things to be returned.
Right. Okay.
It's literally, here's a spot. You want to sponsor?
Right.
Yes, we sponsor. So here you go.
Right.
But if that sponsor is like, we're leaving now, then EVO will be like, well, here's a spot for sale for somebody else, right? Whereas if a venture capitalist is like, we're leaving, and you're like,
no more money, yeah.
Damn.
It's not like that, you're right.
Yeah. So, in essence, it's still grassroots, you know, but it's again, like, what it accomplishes, the publicity it gets, people still, you know, all the other esports sites, even non-video gaming sites will cover EVO and talk about it, and so I think that's really, really important. Yeah.
I highly agree with you. Some other interesting stats are that 80 different countries are represented this year.
Dang.
Which is the most.
Is it the most ever?
It is the most ever.
Dang. Okay. I thought we got to 100 at one point, but I guess not.
In 2016, there were 73. Last year, there were 63.
Oh, so it actually went down a little bit, but then it went back up, huh?
In terms of countries specifically, it did go
yeah.
down for whatever reason, but yeah,
Interesting.
it is back up. That's pretty interesting. Let's see some of these other. So obviously the country that has the most people is the United States, right? There's no duh. But what is funny too, if you look on the series of stats, and these are tweeted by SRK Ranking, they did an interesting set of stats. Is that United States is by far the biggest with 6,785. And then the second biggest is null, so just people didn't put it, I guess.
Shout outs to the people from the Republic of Null.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fifth biggest is US. And then there are 5 people from CA, aka California. So
probably
shout outs to people just not doing it right.
CA.
You know which the second biggest actual country is?
I'm gonna say Canada, right?
Negative.
Japan.
Japan.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
421 people.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
421 people are getting on an airplane,
Right.
flying across the country to go play video games.
Can you the flight that is going to be chartered from wherever, from Tokyo to Vegas or whatever, or from Tokyo to San Francisco to Vegas, that flight is entirely fighting game people.
Yeah, like, can you imagine? They would not fit in one airplane.
Yeah.
They would actually not fit in one airplane to come all over here. That's really kind of crazy. Did I say across the country? Flying across the country. Flying across the world.
Yeah.
It's just like when I said Justin, you know.
Right, that's right, yeah, okay. Yeah, 421 people, is that more than the first EVO, just in terms of entrance?
Oh, yeah,
probably,
I think
right?
so, yeah. Because we were so happy that I think Marvel had like 200 entrants. We were like, woo!
Then Canada was indeed the second. Sorry, the third.
Third, yeah, okay.
With 251.
Okay.
So a pretty significant drop. So shout outs to Japan for 421 players coming. That is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good job to Japan.
I think that's so cool.
Dude, can you imagine that if somehow EVO got big enough that they could charter an EVO Japan plane and everybody's just partying and they have outlets and everyone's just sitting there? Yeah,
That would be so sick.
Yeah, it'd be like the Soul plane, but you know,
That would be so cool.
but for fighting gamers. That'd be amazing.
Can you bring up the SRK stats tweet series? Because I think it'd be cool to put up the overlap stats.
Sure. So
I like those stats.
I'll just blink it out just in case we want to bring it back.
Sure.
Stats. Do we want to do the one that's compared to previous year or just do
that one's good.
Okay. So let's see if we can get here. Yeah, this should.
And then scroll down a little bit.
Let's see here. Let me widen this really quick. Because I want to get this like this. Oh no, that was the wrong one. Shoot, I just messed up the thing. Okay, and I'll shrink it a little bit like so. Like that. It's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
Though, right?
Well, but go down a little bit because this is not what we want to be looking at.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just gonna block us. Okay.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, people on the podcast who are wondering what the hell we are doing. We're just trying to, and I'm being OCD and centering it. Okay.
Okay.
So there we go. So let's scroll down. Is this the one that you
Nope,
want to look at?
keep going.
Or keep going.
This was the countries
Oh,
one.
yeah, okay,
countries
here we
one.
go. This is number of countries per
Here
game.
we go. Click on that, baby.
All right. I think this will.
Can you just click on it and expand it?
There you go.
I mean, click on the picture.
I'm going to have to do a new capture window for it, so. God, Dave, it's so demanding. Look at this. Put this picture up. I'm going to give you a whip. All right, here we go.
Hey, there you go.
There we go.
Nice. This is a cool set of stats here. So you can see from this that they've kind of color-coded it so that the darker the green is, the more overlap there is.
Yeah, so the people on the podcast at home, we've put up a chart of the crossover stuff, and you'll just have to trust the stuff that we're saying.
Correct. So you can see that the game that has the most crossover, the intersection of games, I guess, that have the most crossover, is actually BB Tag and Under Night.
It's not a surprise.
I don't think that's a big surprise.
I mean, both of them have very similar kind of aesthetics, and you get attract a lot of the same players.
Some same characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely think that does make sense.
Yeah. I mean, SRK Stats accidentally listed it as Unio, but, you know.
Whatever.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second most crossovered intersection of games is Samurai Showdown and Street Fighter V.
Mm-hmm. And there is no surprise to me.
No
about
surprise.
that.
Agreed.
Because I feel like, again, a lot of the things that people miss from, like, even 4 and from older Street Fighter games, I think Samurai Showdown kind of brings back a little bit. Because, like I said, Andy OCR freaking showed up for this.
That's cool.
And you have guys like Henry Sen playing it. And, like, all these old school guys are playing this game. So, you know, I think it kind of brings back a little bit more of the less frame data heavy, more, you know, just gut feeling kind of play.
I think that is true, yeah. So I think that's not a surprise at all. And you can see that there's quite a bit of crossover just in general for Showdown.
Yeah, and that's not a surprise to me.
Yeah, because I think you were right earlier when you said that you think it's a good, like, secondary game.
Yeah. It's both. It's the secondary game, and it was there before the game came out. You could register for it before the game came out.
In terms of reason that it got some of the entrance.
So
Yeah,
so a lot of, and crossover, because a lot of people were entering, like, Tekken 7. They're like, why not? Let's enter it. Why not? Let's enter it. So, you know, in other words, next year, do I expect a big drop-off for Sam Show? Probably. I would expect a pretty decent drop-off there.
That makes sense.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you can see if you kind of look at the vertical column of SS that most of those are green. Mm-hmm. And that's because, there's a lot of crossover for that game.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, you can see the other ones in terms of how much crossover there is.
Yeah, and you can see, of course, Smash is going to have the least amount of crossover for every game, but that's to be expected, right? I mean, except for this one, Smash and Smash. They have 100% crossover.
What are the chances?
Pretty impressive, actually.
But what's cool is that in every case there is some crossover. Like you wouldn't you wouldn't think that there'd always be. I mean, I guess you'd expect some, but I mean, look at, for example, Tekken. Tekken actually has substantial crossover everywhere. Even with Smash, 8% of people who sign up for Smash also are playing Tekken.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. I think that's very cool to see.
Interesting, because, like, I'm looking at here, what's the least? It looks like Street Fighter crossing with BB Tag.
And then also Smash Bros. Crossing with Caliber.
Okay. But I mean,
that actually, I am surprised.
That actually is kind of surprising.
That's surprising.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of something like Street Fighter, I would expect a lot of crossover. To see such little crossover with BB Tag is really strange.
You're right.
That's kind of weird to me, but okay.
Well, those are the two least entered games, I guess. Tag and Caliber, so they would probably just have the least crossover just in general.
True. Okay.
Okay, then go to the next one if you could, and hopefully it's the same size. Perfect.
Yes, there you go.
So these are the absolute game overlaps. That is to say, like the
actual numbers instead of the percentage.
Instead of the percentage.
Yeah,
so that's why you see some things like 76 Caliber players played Dragon Ball. Well, there's just like not as many Caliber players as there are the other ones, so that's to be expected, right?
Mm-hmm. So. But there you go. There's that Street Fighter and BB Tag crossover, and again, this might just be because there's a lot of Street Fighter players. Because if you look at the crossover over here, 73 is just as much as Soul Calibur to BB Tag as well. But you know, the percentage is going to be much lower just because of the sheer number of Street Fighter players that exist.
Exactly. Yeah. As people in the chat are talking about. You see the numbers are mirrored here, right? Aren't they? They should be. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Right? Because These are just the absolute numbers. But if,
Right,
if
right.
you're doing it by percentages and the absolute numbers that you're trying to calculate percentages on
Right.
are going to be different, then it's not going to be mirrored.
Yeah, but the
in
craziest
previous
thing
one.
about that is over 1/4 of the Street Fighter players entered Samurai Showdown.
Dang.
That's crazy. That, I feel like, is probably a lot of people just signing up for a Street Fighter and being like, I'm just going to tag on Samurai Showdown as well.
Yeah, man, it was 29%, as we saw in the last one.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. When I see it like that, when I see it as these numbers, that's actually kind of very impressive.
That's cool.
So even though the highest percentage was Under Night and BB Tag, which was 30-some%, wasn't it?
37%.
37%. That's only 240 people.
Right, okay.
Right. So that's still less than half of the number of people who were entered in Street Fighter and Samurai Showdown.
That's a good way to put it.
That's crazy. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting.
I mean, some people are saying thank you, Jaywong. I'm not sure. Did Justin do something specifically with Samurai Showdown and Street Fighter or something like that?
I'm not sure.
Oh, dude. Can we talk about this really quick? Can we
Okay.
sidetrack really quick about the Embrace Death hashtag?
Okay.
Do you know about this?
That it trended?
That it trended and everybody freaked out about it?
I saw the tweets.
Dude. Whoever
Man.
came up with the Embrace Death hashtag was the genius. And it was just so great. And I think it was because of Justin it trended, because he did a contest that you had to respond to something and tweet out something with the words Embrace Death. And it started trending, and then
I
all
see.
these people were just like, what is this about? And then there was the one guy with like the super political post. He was
Yeah.
like, this is why what happens when you allow the SJWs or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone responded to it and was just like, there was a picture of Kyoshiro. It was like, Kyoshiro cares about trans rights. And you know, like, there was like, oh, it was like going all. Oh, that guy got trolled so
He
hard,
definitely
dude.
did.
I'm surprised he didn't delete that tweet at some point
He
in time, dude.
definitely did.
It was amazing. Shout outs to the Embrace Death hashtag, dude. What? God. Although I will still admit that it's still a little dodgy for me, so I got a bunch of Embrace Death stickers.
Yeah, I think it's weird myself.
And I wanted to, I was like, oh, you know, like David has the Broken Tear stickers and the set play stickers on his luggage.
Oh,
and so,
right.
like, maybe I should just put it on my luggage to. I was like, oh, I should not do that.
Maybe not
I
at
should
the
I'm not
airport,
going to
yeah.
do that. I'm not going to do that. No, that's not going to happen.
Get some weird looks at TSA, that's for
Yeah,
sure. I don't care if you got
exactly.
pre-check or not, dude. You're getting weird looks.
Never going to do that. That's
Yeah.
not happening. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if Justin is necessarily to credit for this, but I mean, if he is, shout outs to him. I know he's been playing the game a little bit more. But it didn't even take him until CEO to really play the game, right? And so,
Right.
you know, it was already high numbers before that.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Definitely.
Yeah, the best thing about the Embrace Death is it just allows everybody to keep messing it up. You know, embrace this, embrace that, you know. Like the first time I went online to play it, I tweeted out, I was like, let's see how this goes. Embrace netcode, you know, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So you want to go to the next stat?
All right, what do you got on the next stat?
It's a little
here?
shaped a little differently, but maybe you can click on it and just scroll down and see
Well,
if that
what
works.
I can probably do is use the other one that we had here.
Nice work.
And yeah, this got messed up.
Yeah,
up here.
don't look at that
It's
part.
supposed to be 62.51 and the players, you know what I mean? It's like,
whatever. Just-
Yeah.
This chart's good enough.
okay, there we go.
So this is number of games per player. So 5,734 players entered one game. I think it's probably fine as is.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So 5,734 players entered only one game.
So that's over 50%.
That's the majority.
Yeah, that's over 50%, which is pretty wild to me. Which is actually interesting because this is actually a really good topic for 5.5 we should talk about, or maybe later on.
Let me put it in the notes.
Yeah, but should EVO increase its game registration cost?
Ooh,
It's
wow.
still $10, right? Because this was a discussion on
Yeah,
Twitter
I
for a
remember
little
seeing
bit.
it now,
Yeah. Come on, Crack Prawn, dude. Don't be like that. He says he's yelling at the people entering 8 games because they're gonna mess up the pools.
Oh,
and
you
stuff.
mean Shrugu, Malice Jack, Golden Stew,
No, I think those guys are 9 games, right?
joining all games? What did he say?
Because 8. This chart only goes up to 8, which is weird because there's 9 games.
Yeah, that's True.
And there's only 4 people there, and
then there's more than that. Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
so I think there's more.
I don't know what the deal is there, but okay.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be interesting if more people entered 9 than 8? And I guess I could understand a justification for that if you just think it'd be cool to be like, I entered every game at Evo.
Yeah.
Rather than entering 8, that's like a weird number.
Yeah.
Why don't you just enter all of them at that point? Like, what are you
It's
doing?
weird. It's like $10 more gets you into
why
one more
not?
game. Why not? Just
I
have
don't
fun.
understand. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're wondering the same thing that the chat is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little surprised, honestly, that most players are only entering one game. That is a little surprising to me. It's maybe not a huge surprise, but I would have expected 45% or so. I mean, like a slight, not majority.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
plurality, obviously.
Exactly. No, even if
No,
I
if you
click
click the pick, it doesn't show up either.
It still only goes to 4. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so we've had 11 people at 7 games, 4 people at 8 games. But then if you scroll down a little bit more, here's this list of players joining every game. Now, here's the funny thing about it is, 4 of these players are working for a company. I think it's the same company because it's exactly how you do DINA, which is that made Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
What?
So I don't know, like maybe they worked on Dissidia as well, and so maybe a bunch of the Dissidia people just were like, hey, let's just enter in every game, and woo, and have fun, because I mean, it's weird that there's 4 DINA, people over here, and that's exactly how you spell the publishers of Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Shrugu, Malice Jack, and Goldensu, or
Goldensu.
I totally Japanese that. I totally weaved that name, Goldensu. Golden Stew legit signed up for all 7. So there you go.
It makes sense as people are saying in the chat that it's pronounced DNA, actually.
I guess it would be. I've always just called it Dana, but
I don't know,
whatever. Dude, there was actually, it's so funny, there was a thread out there where people were talking about things that they didn't know how to pronounce until someone actually said it. I even typed in there because the first time I saw the word meme, I thought it was Mei, like it was French or something, right? And I don't know why, but
it does come from French. But
that tweet got so many likes and
Really?
And I looked at the list and it's from nobody that follows me. That's how crazy that thread got. I just put that in there as a joke, just as a response, and it's got
just didn't know.
I had no idea it was gonna kill my mentions like that. So
I thought it was Lake Helia until I was listening to some GDC where they were talking about
Hylia,
and I was like Hyrule.
Yeah,
I just never thought about it.
There's some really crazy ones that were in there. There's some very obvious ones, but it's just funny. One of them that I read that actually blew my mind was I never realized that draft beer was spelled Draught.
Yeah.
I've seen that word related to beer. I've heard draft beer, and there was no, because someone typed in there, I got confused with draft beer, and I looked, and it was, draught beer. And I looked at it, and I was like, that's draft? Yeah. Oh my God, dumb. And I was like, what? There you go.
It's pretty dumb.
English sucks.
It's hard. What a weird language. So 2,246 people entered 2 games at Evo.
Yes.
And, I understand after that point there's a big drop off. But I guess I just thought that the number would be higher there. Anyway, it's not.
Yeah, because I would have expected, because back in the day, whenever you entered EVO, I would always enter 3 games or 4 games just for the hell of it.
I entered 2.
Yeah, even if I wasn't good at another game, I would just enter it and maybe not show up or something like that if I really didn't. But yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
And
number of
probably
4.
the last one we need to check out, honestly.
Okay. Let's see if this works.
What happened?
Not quite good enough. Okay. Do it this way then. Okay. Boom.
Okay.
Number of foreign players. Ooh, bless you.
Boy, thank you. So these are the numbers of foreign players / players from the United States. And some of these are not a surprise. Like the percentage of...
That's a really good point from Rizal in the chat. A lot of people going for the first time are probably very nervous to
That could
join
be.
multiple games, you know, so they're just going and just entering their one game and that's all.
That makes
That's
sense.
pretty true.
Yeah. So look at the share of foreign players in these games. Some of them make a lot of sense. Okay, Street Fighter is 28% people from other places.
Mm-hmm.
That one makes sense. And then on the sort of lower end of things, 10% of foreign players are there for Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
So the one that I think is quite surprising to me is that Smash Bros. Only has 9% foreign players.
I thought Smash was bigger internationally.
It's big internationally. Is it? I mean, the U.S. is like typically the powerhouse, but I guess I just expected that since it's so popular, it's just such a popular game, that there would be more international players represented, but I guess not. I mean, still, there's a lot of international players in the like absolute sense. 300, that's a lot.
Yeah, so somebody's saying that the U.S. and Japan have the biggest scenes, so there you go. And EU is overall kind of underwhelming, which is weird because in Melee they had the strongest player on the world of all time. Foreign players either don't have visas or funding for international tournaments.
I mean, that's how it is for everybody, right?
Yeah.
For all of these games, that's
Yeah.
true. It's not just for Smash.
But yeah, it is interesting. Someone points out that BB Tag only has 15%.
Yeah, that's a surprise. I would have expected it to be higher.
But Samurai Showdown here, you see again 24%. So it's the second highest out of all of them. So again, I feel like the foreign scene helped it out a lot. And that's probably just a lot of crossover with Street Fighter, as we've seen over a quarter of the people, right? So that's probably, it would make sense that it's like the same ratio of those people. So yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the absolute numbers, the SF5 has the most foreign players, then Samurai Showdown. But then, even though only 9%, it actually is Smash Ultimate.
Right.
That's third place
and
overall.
you know what?
In absolute numbers, there are lots of foreign players in that game.
Yeah, that's what Investigation Cone is mentioning, is that there are 301 foreign players coming out. It's just that there's a lot of U.S. players signing up.
Right.
And when you look at it, it's third most. Third most. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, third most. So there you go. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, very interesting stats put out by SRK Ranking.
Yeah, good stuff to them. They always put out a lot of cool stats once this goes live and stuff.
Give them a follow. They do cool stats about a lot of stuff. And it's not just Street Fighter or anything. Like they do cool stats for lots of different games, for lots of different tournaments. They'll put out stats. They're a very interesting account to follow, I feel.
Since we're not even talking directly into this, we don't even need the spit guard up here. So
Okay.
there you go.
So yeah, a little bit about Evo. Well, I mean, we can go to break in just a second. We can fix it then.
Yeah, it's probably a good point. Sorry.
Anything else to say about Evo for now?
The things that I said about the 5-5 topics, you want to just save it for later then?
Yeah, let's do that for 5-5. I guess there is a little bit of actual news, and that is that Samurai Showdown is getting $30,000 in pot bonus from SNK and Athlon.
And that's crazy to me because that was announced very late.
It was.
So that didn't have anything to do with the entrance numbers. You know what I mean? Imagine if $30,000 was known much earlier. I wonder if that would have gotten more people to enter.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that didn't convince people to
join.
join.
That wasn't what made the number so big because they announced that very late.
Right.
So I did not enter a tournament. I never enter at Evo anymore. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm too busy, and it's just another one. I don't enter. I've said this many times. I don't enter at events that I commentate. Because if I do, I get mad when I lose, and then I'm salty, and I can't commentate anymore because I'm just really mad about things. That's happened way too many times.
Yeah.
So.
I really considered entering it this year, but
for MK11,
for MK,
right? Yeah.
But decided not to because I would rather focus on commentary.
Yeah.
I'm going to a local this week for MK. Like I am going to be trying to play more, but. When it comes to big majors, I probably will continue to just do commentary.
Yeah, Jimmy, no worries. We'll mention that once we get to the giveaway. But Jimmy and B15 SDM, they always do the cool joysticks every year. Yes. And apparently he has something. He won't tell me what it is.
Oh, yeah?
But apparently they have something big this year.
Okay.
We'll talk about it again when it comes to the
very
giveaway
cool.
and stuff like that. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back... We'll talk about a bunch of results. We'll speed through those as fast as we can. Yeah, okay. So be right back, guys. Be right back. Alrighty.
Actually, let me use the restroom.
I need to get some water. I am super thirsty. And I'm getting up out of my chair, and that means my cat is going to think I'm going to feed. Yeah, look at...
Hi, the cat.
Meowed at me. I need to know I'm not... Okay. So King 9999, we actually talked about this in a previous 5-5. That was actually one of the viewer voted 5-5s where we talked about what we expected to be revealed. So if you actually look at one of our previous episodes, it'll be there. Oh, that's right. There's a lot of Street Fighter League Season 2 information out there, right? Do we have all that in there?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't see that on my various sources.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of news written about it, but I know, like, Mojo qualified, and, like, a whole bunch of people have put their names in the rings. XSK Samurai requalified.
That's right. That's right. Season 2... Oh, man, yeah, right. Okay, let me put that in here.
Sure.
That's a topic.
Samurai's 100% going to be the first pick. If you have the ability
Should
to
be.
pick somebody and you don't pick Samurai, you're an idiot. Unless, I mean, obviously, unless someone like Smug gets in there or something like that, right? If Smug is in there, then...
I'd pick Samurai.
Fair enough.
Dang.
Tekken 7 is the Alicia of the Brady Bunch. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, Donka made it in?
Donka made it in?
Wait, Item, Samurai, Donka, and Mojo are the ones that are in already?
Danka Diaz.
Oh, Danka.
I was like, I'm sure not, but okay.
Damn, it's like that? Before
There's
Donka?
no way old Mike Schiller's getting in there. He knows it.
Danka Diaz. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of good players are putting their name for voting as well. So the popular vote part is going to get nuts.
Yeah.
That part's going to go crazy. Best of 5 Ultra Gen beef.
Well, I like me over at least 2 of the people in there.
In Street Fighter, right?
Definitely in Street Fighter.
Okay.
And maybe 3 of the people in Street Fighter. Let's see, what other games do I play? Immortal, all of them. It's free. I'm not even worried about it.
See,
what else have I played?
I apologize.
BB-Tech,
I don't know if
probably.
I'd be able to help you too well in the Street Fighter side of things, but I'll see. That would be fun. Actually, it would be really sick one day.
Huh.
We should talk to maybe for a future Evo or something, to do a best of 5 Ultra Chen TV panel.
That would be cool.
Where we just do a show and all of us are on at the same time.
I'm definitely down.
I think that would be so sick.
That actually sounds awesome, man.
I think that would be so much fun. And then we could just all sit there and finally do like it'll be like best of 5 X Ultra Chen TV.
Yeah. Or it could be best of 5 versus best of 3, like with the constant. We can make some joke out of that.
Yeah.
First to 2 or
exactly.
first to 3. There's something there.
I think it would be fun.
All right, man. Well.
Oh dang! So ST has already got about 60 entrants. Hey, shout out to Toxic Salt. Oh no, that's
Toxic
not Salt.
NH.
NH. I thought it was NA. Sorry,
Oh,
my
yeah,
vision.
that actually makes much more sense.
Yeah.
Toxic New Hampshire.
What are you doing?
All right. Well, I'm ready to come back, man.
God.
Oh boy, stuff happened.
Grab
I heard the.
Thing.
I heard cables.
Ugh. Yeah, she was scratching my carpet, so I nudged her with my foot. She knows whenever I nudge her with my foot that I'm not happy with something.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of ran like quickly, and she dragged my headphone cables with her. So
Crispy, I totally forgot about it.
yeah,
You gotta remind me of stuff like that, but I appreciate it. That's a great phrase.
a lot of people talking to me about. They'll always watch the show now, and they'll be like, "Oh, dang, James has a new haircut," whatever, like that. If the people who watch the show a lot probably don't realize that the last 2 episodes, I haven't been wearing the headset. That's the only difference.
That is hilarious.
It's the same hairstyle. It's just no headset. So.
All right, Mang.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome back to the show. So a lot of stuff about Evo, but let's move on to tournament results. Briefly before we do that, I want a pet cow asks, David, I noticed you have some kind of frame data app that you use on commentary for MK11. Which one do you use? I just go to combatacademy.com.
Yeah.
And that's with a K at the start, obviously. Combat Academy, and the K in Academy is also, C in Academy is K, whatever.
Right.
You get the point. So it's combatacademy.com.
It's a great site.
Great
Great
site.
site.
Tons
yeah.
of great info.
It basically just takes the stuff in game and like almost like makes it look exactly the same.
Great
too,
layout.
which is really nice.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about results from stuff. Now, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but just briefly, Game Over happened in the Dominican Republic.
And I'm gonna be
It was
honest
a premiere.
with you, of all the tournaments that we've been to last year that we didn't get to go back to this year or whatever like that. I mean, this might be one of the first ones, but
I think it's the only one so far.
I think this one. I will. This one, I'm really sad not having been able to go because every time they showed footage of the crowd there, I love the Dominican crowd. They're so good.
So good.
I wish people could experience it. I wish people could see it. I mean, hopefully they got to see it on the Capcom Pro Tour.
You could definitely see it on stream.
Yeah, on the Twitch.tv. Because then when you see that and you understand the context, you will totally understand Kaba and DRA and Mena yelling for each other.
They are not out of place
Yeah.
from where they come from. They're just like everybody
And they're
else.
not trying to be annoying.
Yeah.
They're excited and they yell about things. It's so great.
Awesome.
And I miss that crowd so much, dude.
Yeah.
That crowd was so
was
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Street Fighter V was won by Tokido. Mm-hmm. Akuma, he's pretty good. Phenom did a lot of work with Karen actually getting second place. Some Nikali, but a lot of Karen, which is impressive.
It's really starting to... Because before everyone was like, is Karen really that good or is it just Punk? But it's starting to feel more like Karen.
So I think the way that I think about that character is that if you are not one of the best players in the world, then she's like pretty good, but not...
She's like kind of like
absurd or
that
anything.
ST Ryu kind of thing.
Yeah, this is a good way to put
Yeah.
it. Where like most people play her and they're just kind of pedestrian, and maybe they're not bad, but like they're not oppressive. And then you get somebody with reactions like these, the top level players who can confirm individual hits consistently, and all of a sudden she's a terror.
I feel like this is the same almost exact path that Akuma kind of had when he first came out in 5. Because remember, even both of us were like, is he really that good? And Tokido's like, I think he's the best character. And we're like, this guy's on crack, right? You know? And then it turns out he was good, and he started winning, but nobody else was. But now there's way more
Of
Akumas.
course, yeah.
And since Akuma never gets nerfed,
Right,
you know, I mean, it just keeps growing.
Yeah,
and
you're
so
right.
maybe Karen is kind of the same thing.
That makes total sense. Then Dogura, then Fudo, Jiwa and Sako. Shout outs to Jiwa for traveling. I'm doing well.
Again, my favorite.
Smug and Oil King 7th. Punk is a bum who only got 9th place. Same with some jerks named Kaba, Moke, and Itazan. I've heard they've done well in the past. Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch. MK11 was won by Gross. Alright, we move on. Also that weekend, I went to Vienna, Austria.
Oh, that was so cool.
Dang, it was so cool.
That was so cool.
Dude, it's just so pretty, and there's so much history, and
you're
there's so
there
much
for
stuff
a
to do.
video game?
Yes.
How in the...
I don't know, yeah. I put out a vlog on it.
Yeah.
Check it out on youtube.com/ultrachentv. Yeah, I mean, such a just beautiful, very fascinating. Even so, I find it so fascinating because of the history. But if you're not somebody who cares about that, there's still like plenty of stuff to do. There's a lot to eat and drink and things to see. And
I think it was Hanzo.
there's like a water park and stuff.
Hanzo or
There's lots of
Vicious
stuff.
suggested that, because every time you watch those vlogs, you've got those parts where you're, being trolly, but then there's those parts where just like history and it's like all detailed and everything like that.
Yeah.
They said that I should take those videos and redub it as if it were me doing them and like do it in like the lamest way possible. Be like, yo, check out this. Oh, look at this grass. Oh my God. And just be like completely.
That would be hilarious.
Okay,
man.
maybe I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely support that. Anyway, it's not easy to just be like, yeah, you should go to Vienna, everybody. But if you ever find that you have the chance to do it, I highly recommend it.
J Martell's. It's the cats, right? Because on one side this is fine, on the other side it's all messed up. But that's cats, right?
I never thought about it, but that probably is what it is. I've never put it together.
I feel like that has to be cats.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
You're probably
J
right.
Martell says, how is one shirt string broken and the other is not?
I've noticed that this is like this, and I never thought to think about it. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, check out Vienna. It is awesome. And in this 150-year-old building where they had the video game tournament.
And this is a what do you call them? The main, like the premier event.
Oh, the MK Pro competition event. I mean, it's just part of the pro competition.
Enough. Gotcha.
So, there's a big pot bonus, $15,000, yada yada. It's a big tournament. And they were very happy because they had double the entrance of last year.
That's awesome.
So they're really growing as well.
That's awesome.
So shout outs to them. They run a tight ship.
Really
Really good
go
tournament.
one of these years. Hopefully I can start doing some MK commentary.
Yeah, man, I hope so.
Happy, dude.
PJ Hayate won it.
Nice.
Aaron Black, Tekken Master got second place with Sonya, Geras, Aaron Black, and Kung Lao.
I think that's super smart. I think MK11 is just one of those games where you gotta know multiple characters. I really feel like it. So
that makes sense. And super hype grand finals. If you haven't watched it, I really recommend it. Very, very fun.
Okay.
Then Foxy Grandpa, Dizzy, Boki, and Asadamasa, Yemeni, and Sharp Teeth. The Canadians did not do as well. The Canadian brothers, Biohazard and Honeybee, didn't do well.
Obviously, players like Scar,
Canadian,
Sonic Fox didn't go.
We're not
and
there.
Stuff, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's apparently cheaper to get there from Canada than from the U.S. for whatever reason. So the Canadians went, but for the U.S. players, it just wasn't practical.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. All right.
There you go.
Nice.
Anyway, check it out. Recommended. They played other games too, but we're moving on. Did you know that the Neo Geo World Tour finals happened?
That it
The
exists,
Neo
or
Geo
that,
World Tour finals happened.
That it exists, or that it happened? Because I could answer no to
Part
probably
one,
both.
okay.
I mean, I knew there was a Neo Geo World
Yeah.
Tour, but obviously they need to do some more work on that for
I mean,
sure.
that is for sure, because I didn't know that this happened.
I didn't know it happened. I knew it kind of sort of existed.
Yeah.
But don't they have like Metal Slug things, runs and stuff like that, or anything like that? Or?
That I'm not sure of.
Oh,
It's not
okay,
listed in the
okay.
results here, but
Yeah.
the main games, certainly fighting games, were KOF 14 and KOF 98. And I mean, there's been a tour and like 32
Yeah.
players qualified for each. Like it's
Well, you remember the
organized,
one
but-
year that Reyno was supposed to go, but then he couldn't go because of the visa. But
Yeah.
didn't he like eventually make? I don't remember the whole story now. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, who won it? Sanwa M Dash.
Oh really?
KOF 14.
Shanghai is not in here.
No, Shanghai got 9th.
Oh wow!
And
I was
KOF
looking at the
14.
top. Oh, and KOF 14. Okay.
ET got 2nd, Pineapple
Okay.
3rd. However, in KOF 98, Shanghai won it.
Okay. Yeah.
2nd place, Dako. Third place, Xiaohei.
Yeah, there was a different one. Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
No, not for as far as I know, and the only translation I can think of probably wouldn't sound right if I translated
Fair
it
enough.
right now.
Fourth place was Kanba Chenglong. So shoutouts to the Chinese players, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically dominating that area. And then CCCP, R Punk got 5th place. Wow, straight from the Soviet Union. Shoutouts to...
Okay. It's probably the China Confederate competitive players. I don't know.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It is, huh? Xiaohei is little black, huh? Okay, I don't know. It just sounds weird to me.
It does sound weird,
I don't know what that means, right? So, Shanghai Dako Grand Finals was ridiculous, huh? Interesting. Okay.
Sonic Boom occurred. Mm-hmm. That was a tournament in Madrid, Spain. It was cool to watch. I watched some of that.
Yes.
This was a ranking event on the CPT.
Mm-hmm.
Problem X won it.
Yes.
Second place was Infectious, whose Zeku is very fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's funny because third place is Gamerby.
Gamerby.
Right? This is like tradition for Cygames team. Is that whenever they sign a new player, that person, I guess, beats one of the older players. Because as soon as they signed Gamerby, he beat Daigo at a tournament. And then they sign Infectious and he beats Gamerby.
Wow.
It's like
That's
tradition. Funny. Ah! What happened to our chat? Your thing.
Are we on? Yeah, it's still happening.
Okay, so... Well,
oh, no, it's back. It's back.
Oh, there
it's
we
all
go.
good.
Okay.
That's on our end.
Yeah.
Third, yeah, like you said, Gamerby, then Big Bird, then Vega Patch and Luffy, and then Bolt Strike and Mr. Crimson. And for the first time, I assume ever, in a top 8, there was a Vega versus Fang match. And it was actually a really good match. Really good. Like, Bolt Strike went up 2-0 versus Vega Patch Fang.
And you know what the best... Yeah,
Vega Patch made the full comeback.
Dude, the best part about that is that in the matchup that you mentioned, Vega Patch is not playing Vega.
No, he's not. He's the Fang player.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bolt Strike's the Vega.
Dang. Okay.
It was really fun. It was fun to watch.
What else was there? Was that the only event that they had there?
Probably not. Let me see.
Just I'm curious.
Dragon Ball was there. Oplan Noka won it with Kid Buu, Adult
Okay.
Gohan, Kid Goku. DOS
So I was just wondering if there was like
Dragon,
there is an MK11.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But it was
very
on the
big.
same weekend as Viennality, or no?
No, this is last weekend.
Okay.
But it wasn't very big there.
Okay.
And Fasol and Nivik are both very good players.
Right.
And Leo has done some work too.
Okay. All right.
Samurai Shodown was won by Apopiano with Yashamaru. That's right. This is somebody who won a tournament with Yashamaru, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, Yashamaru, Vi has been winning with him
Yeah,
at
I've
Wednesday
seen that.
fights all over the place, and he's just like, I don't understand how the only character with like crazy air movement is listed so low on everybody's tier charts. And
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know. Fight in Rio also happened. I think it was the same week. A bunch of stuff happened this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So this was in Brazil. It was a CPT ranking event for Street Fighter, and Umbrella Dark won it
Oh wow.
with G and some birdie,
Okay.
but mostly G. Second place was Zenith with Manat, Paulo 3B with Laura, and then Bralillo was what they pronounced. That's how they
Oh,
said
really?
it. They didn't pronounce the
Oh,
end. Or it's like slightly nasally. But I've always like gone in hard on that.
Yeah, Brolinho.
Brolinho.
Yeah,
But
uh-huh.
nah, it was like Bralillo.
Bralillo.
There's like a little nasal.
Bralillo.
I don't know.
Didn't he retire?
I was just gonna say. So yeah, he retired, and he's just he just was like, yeah, I just entered it, and I just got fourth.
Bralillo is what they're saying. Cause so Spirit of the CPT says it sounds like how I said it.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Bralillo.
Nice work. Nice work out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. I've always pronounced it wrong, so good to know.
Okay.
Good to know after he
Oh, he
retired.
said he would defend his hometown. So
Right.
that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's retired.
Yeah, he's just ridiculous. That's all.
Very strong player, definitely.
Did Diddy Makov not play in this?
I don't think he flew down. He
Okay,
lives in the
okay.
U.S. now.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I didn't even
He's
know.
in Vegas.
I didn't even know. Okay. Shout outs to him. There you go. And Keoma had 9th place. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was one tournament, so keep in mind, G won it. All right.
I mean, that's not surprising to me. I mean,
No?
you're saying that like it's crazy. I think G's amazing.
Do you?
I still think he's super good.
Toryuken also happened. This was a ranking event on the CPT for Street Fighter V. NuckleDu won it
Yeah.
with G and a little bit of guile.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
G
yeah.
won 2 tournaments on the same weekend in Capcom Pro Tour ranking events.
Okay.
So shout outs to that.
This
character.
weekend was great.
What? Punk got second with Karen, then JB, Rashid obviously, then Smug with G.
I tell you, man.
I know. I mean, I've been
telling
saying it. I've been
Right,
saying it.
yeah,
I know you have too, but yeah,
mhm.
we've been saying that since early times with that character.
Power to the us.
Very fun tournament to watch. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And
And also in
then-
Toryuken, actually, the other funny thing is that I don't know if Justin has ever played Samurai Showdown 5 Special, but he got second place in that tournament,
Yeah.
and then he won Samurai Showdown.
Right, okay, so Mishimai's won Tekken 7, Justin Wong won Showdown
Yeah.
with Charlotte. I didn't know that he played Charlotte
He-
and Tam Tam.
So it's so funny because both me, Olaf, and Corey were all like, Justin's got to play Charlotte. He's got to.
Really?
Like, Charlotte is such a Justin character.
Okay.
And then he finally tried messing with Charlotte, and he was like, she's so good. And all 3 of us were like, see, we told you you should be. So it might be his secondary now.
Okay. I feel like
Yeah.
Tam Tam fits him well.
Oh no, Tam Tam is really, really good for him,
Yeah.
but Charlotte would work too.
Sure,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Lord Jimmy Bones got second with Charlotte also, and third with Chef Raptor,
Lord
also
Jimmy
with
Bones.
Tam Tam.
Shout outs to him, but it's funny, I hosted him one time because he was streaming.
Yeah.
And I just hosted him. I rated him after I was done, and I just told all of my chat to just tell him to unretire from Super Turbo.
Hey! That's cool.
Okay.
Sunio won Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
He's a good player. Kerbo got second. NorCal Strong Style also happened. This, of course, is a Tekken tournament, and it's a team tournament.
Someone said that they hear me kissing my cat, and they'll probably think it's us kissing if it's on the podcast. Yeah, it's probably true. It's funny.
So this was a blast to watch. Did you watch any of
I
this?
did not get a chance to watch any of it.
I watched a
was
bunch of this.
Not home.
Oh, that's right, of course, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
Strong Style,
It's a
so-
team tournament, 3v3. Mostly players from North America, but there was one team that was Strong Style Japan that
Yeah.
qualified for it.
Yeah, and it's
it
kind of a thing
not
that
even all Japanese players, but
it's like Bronson's thing,
Yeah.
right? And it started as his, and it's just become so big now that it's like one of the big Tekken events to go to. And
Yeah.
and it, as soon as you know it's Bronson's involved, you know that it's going to be as little esports as possible,
Yes.
right? Like Bronson just the whole time was just like, he was talking smack to everybody
He was.
in there, dude. Oh my god.
yeah,
So,
it's great.
yeah.
So 87 teams entered, aka over 250 people.
That's awesome.
That is super great. That's awesome news.
That's really super
Yeah.
cool.
People are talking about the commentary, and it was excellent. It was so good.
Bronson describes it as he talks so much shit they made a tournament to invite people to beat him up.
Ah!
That actually makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the commentary is a blast. I thought that MYK and Rixta did awesome in grand finals, too.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool.
They're really
everybody
stepping
there.
up.
They
on
really,
it.
it really.
I mean, the hardest thing about Tekken is still the fact that a lot of the best commentators are entering. Right, like Rixta got, like, what if he was assigned to do top 8 at Combo Breaker?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to do it because he made it into top
Right.
8, It's always one of the tough things, but shout outs to them. To them. But,
winner of it was
the Strong Style Japan
Strong
team.
Style Japan, which again is not actually all Japanese players. It's people who qualified in Japan. So it's Rangchu Panda, Chikurin with Geese, and Ulsan with Kazumi.
And Ulsan's Korean, right?
I think isn't Rangchu as well.
Oh, you're right. He is.
I
Yeah,
believe
yeah,
so.
yeah. Okay.
So they beat Team Equinox in grand finals.
Shout outs to Team
Which
Equinox.
was Cuddlecore, Joey Fury, and Dimeback.
Yeah. Shout outs to that team, dude. Good job to them.
It was so cool, and I gotta tell you, it was very fun to see them. They were talking whether they won or lost. It was like we all talk in the Street Fighter League, right? They seemed like they were giving advice.
Should we start
to each
over
other.
again? Should we start?
Right, yeah. They're like giving
Inside joke,
advice,
dude,
definitely
yeah.
between us two only.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking to each other. They were giving each other advice. They switched who was going first and second based on the match. It was very cool to watch.
That's really, really
And
cool.
it ended up being that I think in the grand finals, I don't think Rangchu had to play.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a little bit of a blow up, but shout outs as well to the excellent stream graphics that had the player names and 2 little Zelda hearts next to them.
Oh, yeah,
So that
yeah.
you knew exactly who was alive still and who was on the team. Because it's always been a problem for whatever reason in team tournaments that you know either the team name or the player playing.
Right, but you don't know.
And not both. And I've always thought that's a very solvable problem.
Right.
It's like obviously solvable.
Oh,
but
Rangchu
shout out
actually,
for doing it.
Rangchu lost the cuddle core according to Shay.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Okay. But so Jimmy's team got 4th place. So Jimmy, Bronson, and Anakin. That's surprising.
Well,
Except, I mean, they had to carry Bronson, right?
Probably,
so,
yeah. Third was Tigers, which was Onijin, JDCR, and NYC Fab.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I watched most of it, and it was really fun.
That's
the
awesome.
commentary was awesome. Good job to everybody. JDCR won the SBO-style single elimination tournament.
Oh, dang. I wonder if that was 1 game, single elimination.
That's my guess.
That's crazy. Okay. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff to Strong Style.
Good stuff. That's all I got in terms of tournament results here. Do you want to talk about your thing that you went to?
Yeah, I mean, I went to another Army Entertainment Esports in Fort Wainwright in Alaska.
Yeah.
You went to Alaska last year.
Indeed.
And I got to go this year. And, it's standard situation. We're going to the base. And again, obviously, the idea of recruiting people is not exactly up my alley and stuff like that. But there's so many of the people there are really just on the morale team. The morale, I forget what it's called. It's like MRW or something like that. But it's really just about finding ways to keep all the soldiers there having good time and doing a lot of things. And for that reason, I actually do enjoy going there.
That part I'm cool with.
A lot of the players there seem very excited, and some of them there are very familiar with the FGC. In fact, the guy who won the tournament, Mr. Vandalay,
I remember that.
he was the 2nd place last year.
Yep.
And he won it, and he was the only one that had his own fight stick already. So you just knew he was going to be one of the strongest players that was there. And what was cool too is even after the tournament was over, he sat down and he played Jeremy in a few sets and stuff like that. So it was really, really kind of cool.
I remember his name because last year while we were on commentary, I was commentating with like Steven and Ringe, and I was like, "Oh, Vandalay, huh? Is this just a made up name? Who is this his real name?" And they didn't get the joke at all.
Right, yeah. I definitely made Seinfeld references on there.
Did anybody get it?
No, I don't think they did. So yeah.
Man.
I said, well, if he wins and he recruits his own team, they're gonna be Vandalay Industries.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But I don't like. But then I went, it's a Seinfeld joke, and Vicious was like, oh, okay. I knew it was something, but yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all I have in terms of results.
I'm sorry, Excellent Young, if I keep saying all the time. But the one thing that's crazy about it, though, so you guys went in around September last year or late August or something. I can't remember now. We went up there, and I knew that it didn't get very dark there for a long period of time. I didn't know it was like this.
Okay.
It was wild.
Okay.
Like, 10:30, 11 o'clock, it looks like afternoon over here.
Right.
It is just bright.
Yeah, man.
And
you're in the Arctic Circle.
The
man.
hardest thing about it is you subconsciously, you don't realize how subconsciously you realize what time of day it is by windows.
Right, sure.
And like we ate dinner after dinner was over. I'm just like walking around. Someone's like, "Oh, what do you guys want to do?" It's like 10:30 already, and I was like, "What?" And I looked at my clock, and it's 10:30. Dude, it is crazy.
Yeah.
It is wild, and it literally when we're sleeping, it's like 2:30 or whatever. It just looks like dusk outside.
Right.
Like it just never got dark.
Right.
Like at all. So it was crazy. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see the Northern Lights, but I told the Army people there, I was like, run the next one in the wintertime. I want to experience it the opposite direction.
They definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, it was fun. It was fun being up there, and it's just interesting. I mean, one of the tough things about being in Alaska at this time, though, is that they were running into a bunch of fires. There's a bunch of fires up there. In fact, so much to the point that someone who lived in Fairbanks tweeted me and was like, you can't walk outside. Like, the air quality index is that bad. And, like, literally when we were walking outside, all you do is smell smoke.
Oh, wow.
And when Jeremy checked into his room, I don't know if they changed rooms or not, but we went to his room, and We put on the face mask in his room because it
Oh.
smelled just nothing but smoke in his room. So much to the point where we had the face mask off. When we took them off, like immediately you would just smell smoke. It was crazy. So
Wow.
yeah, it's really unfortunate. And the Lyft driver who was driving there, I was asking her like what caused all the fires. It's
Yeah.
just lightning.
Yeah, okay.
They
Yeah.
said the lightning storm has been worse this year than ever before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I use
mean-
the same joke that I use all the time is if only there was some sort of weird global phenomenon that could explain why the weather is all messed up.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, I mean, I forgot to bring a hoodie
Really?
to Alaska because I was just like, because I left my apartment, it was blazing hot here. It just didn't even get into my brain until I was in the airport, and I was like, oh, damn it. I'm going to Alaska with no hoodie, no jacket, nothing. Didn't need it.
Okay.
It was just fine over
Yeah.
there. So in the summer, it's actually pretty warm.
Yeah,
So,
especially now, I think.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's funny.
Yep. But no, that was cool.
All right.
Okay. You want to take a break or just go straight into the 5-5 stuff here?
Yeah, let's do the 5-5 stuff.
You want to do
let's
the
make it happen.
viewer 5-5 stuff or the other 5-5, the Evo 5-5 thing?
Let's do the Evo thing and save the viewer thing for last.
Yes, let's do
So
that.
that we can properly discuss it. Should Evo increase its game registration cost from $10 to what should it cost?
So,
Dollars.
interestingly, that conversation came up because obviously last year the prize pool for Smash wasn't very high. They're talking about stuff like that again this year. And then even Javi was like, that's kind of strange because I charge $15 per game for Texas Showdown and it hasn't really hurt us. Why hasn't Evo increased? And, it became a discussion on
Sure.
the internet. And so I had an opinion before. But now my opinion might be changing a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm curious where you stand right now. Where do you... Sorry, I made it sound like I was
mean-
going to go first. So then you drinking your
It's
water.
all good, man. I heard that you were leading it to me, and I was still like, I'm gonna drink anyway. I knew where I was going. I think that they should not. I think that they should not. I don't want to create a more exclusive situation than needs be. If it needs to be, then that's something that they should look at. And there may be that there will come that moment. I don't know if it's now or what.
I mean,
if it's not now, when will it
It's
be? I
never
guess.
it's never going to be a need because that money goes straight into the pot. Right?
So what I mean is that at 10, more people would enter than at 15. And so
right.
at 15, maybe you discourage enough people from entry
Right.
that you can then make a manageable bracket.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to get, not now, but maybe in some future time, what if you get 10,000 people for Street Fighter 5? Mm-hmm. That's the $10 entry fee.
Street Fighter 6, right?
Yeah, 6, whatever.
7.
Right? I don't know. Yeah. But if you were to charge 15, you would get some percentage less.
Right.
I don't know what percentage less it would be,
Right.
but some percentage less to make it more manageable. So at that point, maybe. But until you get some kind of situation like that where just logistically you can't handle it, I hope that they stick with 10 because I want it to be less exclusive and I want more people to be there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, I've been on the side of $10 the whole time. Like, I just really feel like, especially because, there is that factor that people are going to enter and, oh, what's another $10 for this game? What's
Yeah.
another 10?
Or $5. Like, what would $5... I mean, as Gentle Snow saying in the chat, who's paying for a Vegas weekend and then says $5 more?
Right, but that's
I mean,
the thing is, like, for me, it
get
was
it.
like for the people who are entering multiple games, right? So if you're entering multiple games, it's not just $5. All of a
Okay,
sudden
fair
it
enough.
starts to add more. But the reason why my opinion on that changed is because of the stats that we were going over, and over 50% of the people are only entering one game. So that's literally only $5. There's really not that many. I mean, the only person who's paying an extra $45 are 3 guys and 4 DNA employees, And so maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it's just to increase. I mean, if they did it and the prize pool increases, then yes, let's start paying out to much lower than, like, let's use that extra 33% increase or 50% increase, whatever. My math sucks. But like whatever that increase to pay down deeper, you know what I mean? And that would be cool. But for now, I would rather keep it at 10 because one, I think, and I said this on Twitter too. So, what are the advantages of higher payout? Right? Is higher entry fees, bigger payout for the people who win. Right.
Right. Of course.
90% of the people realistically know they're not seeing any bit of that
also.
money, right? And so, does prestige from higher payouts benefit our scene more now, or do high entry numbers benefit our scene more now? You know what I mean? From a marketing, from a public standpoint, from a, hey, we're not in the FGC, but we're looking to... I really do feel like the number of entrants is more important right now.
Okay.
So I would rather focus on the number of entrants than on the prize money to the people, because the prize money to the people will increase not enough that it will make a substantial difference in psychology of how much you're winning, especially when you add the pot bonuses on top of everything, right? A lot of the money is just going to come from pot bonuses.
Well, for most of the games, but not for Smash, for
right.
example.
Smash is the big unfortunate one. But that one is just Nintendo get off your ass and support the community, you know? I mean, come on, please.
So in terms of, like, who would go to Vegas and enter EVO and be dissuaded by $5 or $10.
Right.
I think that does exist, and it's not people who are going to play Street Fighter who are like, oh, I can't afford the extra 5 or 10. It's people who would go to play one game, and then maybe they like kind of know how to play Tekken, and they're like, maybe I'll try it out, and I'm gonna go on too, but we'll see how it goes. or maybe it's a game where you're like, I might play. Maybe I'll learn the game between now and then, but like I'm not sure.
Right.
At that point, those are the people who I think would less often pay $15 or $20. Not none, but less often. And I don't know what percentage that is, but it's some percentage of people who enter.
And I think it was 2 years ago or so, Wizard put out one of those polls and was like, should we increase the reg fee from 10 to 15?
Yeah.
And it was overwhelmingly no.
Yeah.
Right. So I think right now it's okay where it's at, but people just have to realize the result of that, in that if you don't get a dev pop bonus, you're just not making that much out of it. Now, they did say that they might want to tweak the payout a little bit.
They did talk about that.
Yeah, they did talk about that. What do you think of that?
They should. I mean, this is something we've been talking about forever.
But they weren't bringing it down to 16. They were just shifting it within the 8.
So I definitely think first place that they should shift it to 16 or 32 even. But that's true. That was not the question. Mr. Wizard wanted to know if you wanted a different top 8 arrangement, which was basically just so that 7th places got nothing, right? I mean, not literally nothing. They were getting something before, but so smuzz, like absurd.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, they should make that adjustment. But they should also do what a bunch of other tournaments have done for a decade of pegging the how many people get paid out to how many people enter.
Right.
Why not? Why haven't they been doing that? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think that they can do 32 just yet, because literally...
There are 3,500 people in Smash.
Yeah, but...
Give them their money back.
Smash might be able to do it, yeah.
I mean,
because there's enough entrants in Smash.
If it's over 1,000, give them their money back.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I mean...
Just their entrance fees, right? I feel like that's very reasonable.
Okay, because that's like literally like 0.00 like 2% of the pot.
It could just be literally their money back, rather
right?
Than percentage. Yeah. No, I mean it's not. Yeah, that's.
So just give them their reg fee.
Yeah, their reg fee and their entrance fee.
So if it's what is it like?
$70.
$70 plus $10, so you just get $80 back, basically.
Get your money back.
Okay. I mean, do you feel like?
Yeah, I think that there is this psychological effect.
That has nothing to do with greedy, dude, because that doesn't change any of the money that they're...
Yeah, Wizard doesn't get any of that money anyway.
Yeah, I know. That has nothing to do with his money.
So this is separate. So we're talking about the fee that you enter with a particular game.
Yeah.
Separately, before that, you had to pay the registration fee for the whole event. That goes to EVO.
Right.
But then the $10 that goes to the individual game's pot does not go to Wizard or anything.
I mean, they'll get the reg fee back, but that comes out of the pot. You know what I mean? So that doesn't affect...
You mean the player who enters and wins?
Yeah, well, I'm saying the player who gets their money back will get the reg fee, but that comes from the pot, not from the regs, not the registration pool, right? So, yeah, it doesn't change that anyway. So...
Anyway, that wasn't the question. The question was, should they reapportion the top 8 payout? And yes.
Yeah, I think they should too.
They should.
I should. Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you want to do the other 5-5 then?
Yeah, man. All right. So, as we have been doing over the past month, we take questions from everybody on Twitter, on YouTube. What do you want us to talk about? Once we've obtained various answers, well, questions, I guess, we then let people who are Twitch and Patreon subs vote on which ones they want us to talk about.
Right.
And whichever one gets the most votes is what we discuss.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because for the past few weeks, the ones we get, I'm like, okay. This is like the first topic that I'm like, whoa.
Okay.
I got to think about this one.
All right. Let me bring it up here.
Oh, don't worry about the water. And that's the other thing, too, is like everyone keeps complaining about the water from last year. Evo's not making any of that money from the water. That's all the hotel.
Yeah.
Like, they make all that money. So I don't understand.
They don't split it?
No. Okay. I don't think they make any of that money. And that's just Vegas. Vegas refuses to charge less than that. You know what I mean? Because that's just the way it works, so...
Anyway.
The water is free this year. So they already said water
did.
is free this year.
They did negotiate that.
Yeah. Well, because Vegas is smart, right? They know it's hard to get water in casinos, so they know they can gouge people. That's just all it is, so...
That's why I just go to the sink and drink straight from the sink, James.
Or you can just go to the Walgreens, right? Which is also across the way, and buy water for regular prices at the Walgreens. Okay.
Fine.
No, seriously, it's like cheaper to buy a Coke from a shop than it is to buy water.
Really?
That's my experience, I feel like, so...
That sucks.
Yeah.
Alright, so I finally got the thing here. Let's discuss.
All right.
Here's...
So what are some of the questions that didn't get picked?
Okay. Let's talk about the ones that got votes, at least, I guess. Not all good. How has the meta evolved for Samurai Showdown so far?
Okay.
Not going to talk about it. Should Street Fighter be the final Sunday tournament at EVO every year?
I mean, I'm just going to
Just
say
say
no. Yeah.
That's the answer. That was quick. What are the parallels between the FGC and the Smash community? One person voted for that. What is okay as a pop-off and what is not? Referring to the MK11 CEO pop-off
yes,
by
okay.
Daddy, aka Buffalo,
Right.
versus Scar. And I think this is kind of interesting. What do you think about health total difference in fighting games? Is health differential a good balancing tool?
Oh, for the characters, like how much max health they have,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Like Akuma,
Yeah,
Seth, whatever.
Okay. I like that one. Yeah. Maybe we'll save that for
Well, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah. Too bad!
People can definitely resubmit questions.
Actually, too bad!
Yeah, right, yeah.
Alright.
Here's what we're talking about. The Western fighting game community values theoretical best play in their tier lists, while Japan, thank you, heavily focuses on the results of top players. Does the results-based approach have merit? Or are Japan cowards for not going with theory?
Wow!
That's what it says.
Jesus, I mean... let's
Capital cowards!
just call them out, dude. Jeez. Look, first of all, I think that this is almost kind of like a two-part question here.
Okay.
One, is that true?
Yeah.
Is that really true that Japan feels... is that how they... do we know that as a fact?
I've talked with people from Japan who say that that's what they do.
Oh, really? So they just base tiers on what the current top players
Which
are.
character's winning the most?
Okay. And that's why Zangief is ranked so high? Because
Exactly
of
right.
Itazan?
Exactly right.
Oh, jeez.
Seriously. And that's why they so quickly had Akuma in top, because like Tokido was doing all the work.
Yeah.
Where we here were like, yeah, maybe Akuma's good, but like
Only Tokido's doing it.
only
Yeah.
one guy. So can that really be like? Can that fit in our conception of the sort of theory of if you have two players who are at the same high
Right,
level
yeah,
and they play the matchup? How does it go? Does that fit if only one person's winning?
It's like basically it would be the third strike question, right? Is Q a top? Is he top tier?
Yeah.
Because
Is Q
Kuroda's
good?
winning, or is it because nobody else can do what Kuroda's doing, right? So that's interesting. I never really knew that's how Japan did all the tiering and stuff like that. Okay.
Who's
I mean,
winning?
I don't think they're cowards for avoiding the theoretical.
Yeah.
I can see why they would want to do it the way, because it's literally what's happening in their tournaments.
Yeah, I understand.
But I prefer the U.S. method of theoretical tiering instead. So.
Yeah, I do too, and for a couple of reasons. One is that I think that you can separate the character from the player. It's not perfect, obviously, but you can look at it at a set of choices that happen in a match. And on the one hand, every decision that happened through that character. Yeah. So it's like definitionally something the character can do.
Right.
But on the other hand, if only one person is making these decisions, then that's not something that the character is like necessarily good at. It's just being used in that way, and that's the player. So I'd rather separate them, and I want to give credence to good players. I think saying Zangief is top tier or high tier or whatever because Itazan's winning with him, that sucks for Itazan. Like, give Itazan credit that he's one of the best players in the world. If you are just viewing him as like playing a character who's really good, then I feel like that devalues him a little bit.
All I'm just going to say is, I don't care what FAB is doing, there is no way Potemkin is not the worst character in Guilty Gear.
Okay.
Right? He is clearly so not good in that game. And even if FAB is winning tournaments, which he's not even really doing, that's how bad the character is these days. But, like, if he was winning tournaments, I still, like, if you said that he was top tier because FAB's, it's like, that's just, it's so patently false. You know what I mean?
You brought up game balancing, and maybe, do you think maybe that's part of why the character isn't that strong? Do they look at FAB and they're like, whoa, look at this dude's doing it, so...
I'm so terrified that is one of the reasons why, because... I mean, Potemkin is just... I mean, when he was good, like, the game just wasn't fun, right? It's just... Potemkin being good is just not fun.
Okay.
And so I think that, they're scared. I think FAB might scare them a little bit into making not as strong as he should be able to be. But I don't know. There's so many factors in terms of how to balance it. But in terms of how to tier them, I really think... Because the hardest part about theory is that we can theorize everything. Like, I mean... Like, for example, me and Olaf talk about Wu in Samurai Showdown. I thought she was going to be bad.
Right.
And he's like, but I think theoretically she can be very, very strong. That, yeah. And I honestly don't even think theoretically she can be very strong.
She doesn't seem very good, to be honest.
And so, but, like, do you, based on that, so do you rate Dalsum as a top tier character in MVC2 because he's always been theorized to be one of the strongest characters? You know, so by then, you are going by the actual results, right? Clearly, Magneto, Storm, and Sentinel are the top characters in Cable, right?
But, like, theoretically, they're the best.
Right,
also.
But theoretically, they're the best. But then Dalsum might be theoretically up there, too, but no one's ever able to do it. So, I think there's a theory based on top of practicality.
Yeah, there's a middle ground.
It's not just going to be pure theory. So I'll go off of theory, but onto if a robot could be programmed to do everything perfectly every time, this character would be unbeatable. Sure, not in terms of just reacting to what they're doing, but just like you could perform everything like the Dalsum stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like, sure, but let's think about it in a practical human standpoint. It needs to still be doable by humans.
Agreed totally. And that, I think that even fits into a theoretical framework that you have to take into that into account. Mm-hmm. But I think what I mean by middle ground is that there are some times when I think that a character is very strong, but if nobody proves it, then I don't know. What do you say? Like, you can't conclude that the character is very strong. I always thought Hakan was really good in Street Fighter 4.
He's like the best character when oiled.
Nice. And especially by the end, I really thought he was top 10. But you never saw it.
Right.
So what does it mean for me to say that I think he's top 10? Like, there's no meaning in that. It's just complete conjecture. And we'll actually never know because the game isn't played like that anymore.
Yeah, I like what Curly W said.
I don't know.
Curly W actually brought up the opposite situation, which is that final round, Kusuro killed everyone with Beautiful Joe, Frank West, and Rocket Raccoon. Remember that, right? And it's known now that team is garbage, right? That team just isn't a real team. We know how to fight it now. So winning a tournament isn't necessarily a sign that you're a strong team, right? Or do the tiers for Japan just change that? Are they willing just to change them that drastically? You know,
that I don't know. And I thought somebody else had a really good point in the chat, which is that if you just pay attention to results, then it's very hard to tier the least used characters. That's hard in general, because even for theory, it's hard to even know as much about a character if you never see it. Maybe you yourself are using the character, that's one thing. Like that's why I feel Hakan was really good. But
and I had to fight your Hakan, so I thought he was really good.
but if you never saw Hakan, you would just have no guess, really. You'd only have a guess, I guess, is maybe a better way to put it. Right. So that may have some issues. But that is, again, probably also problems for the theoretical side.
And, Crispy Loves You mentions it in the chat. He's right, too. I'm sure Japan isn't just only results.
No, it's got to be a mix. I mean, because, again, we are, too. We're not exclusively theory. Like I'm mentioning, we also have to take into account whether it's happening.
It's a preference kind of thing, right?
You're a little bit more on one side or the other.
I mean, the fact that Zangief is always going to be the example, and Laura is another one, right? They never, in season 1 or 2, they never rated Laura high because there wasn't a lot of strong Laura players in Japan, right? So
yeah,
but yeah, it's interesting. It has a good touch of not making waves culture. Interesting. Picking based on objective wins dodges arguments.
I don't know.
Maybe. But for me, I mean, look, theory fighting is one of the number one pastimes of fighting game players, especially from my generation, because that's all we could do.
That's all we did.
I mean, I know Tom Cannon talked about that in his little Evo talk that he posted up just recently, where it was just back in the day, you just talk smack to everybody because there was no way to prove it one way or the other. Like,
I mean, even in the 2000s, it was like that.
Yeah, I'm better than you. You clearly suck and whatever like that.
We did that.
Yeah, that's true. That was happening on SRK forums too. It's so much easier now. That's the beautiful thing is that we can stop that.
Get online right now, buddy.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay. Yeah. Or you'll be at Combo Breaker, right? Let's play.
Yeah.
And, well, I might not be free that week. I might have to, it's so hard these days, right?
It's much more doable to
I would, except I can't make it to Combo Breaker that weekend because, my cat is supposed to die that weekend. Like, it's crazy, dude. No, that was a reference to something Jackie posted a while ago. Okay. So, but yeah. My dad's calling. I can't go to Combo Breaker because my dad's calling. Yeah, but I mean, theory fighting is just fun.
It is fun.
I like it. It's fun to talk about tiers and like, I think this character. Oh yeah, well it's because the stand medium kick is so good.
Totally.
I mean, like I never thought Karen was top 3, but my mind has actually started changing because of talking to some of the top players and stuff and what their reasoning behind it is.
I just think they have access to different stuff. I mean, if you're not reacting in that way that they can to individual hits, it's just not the same character.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean their main point, which I kind of agree with now, is that she's one of the only characters who can make comebacks and do crazy things without her V trigger.
Yeah.
So she can spend a lot of it on reversal, so she has a tool that doesn't hamper other things and she can still get the damage and quarter carry through her combos because she can do damage into just as much with a cancel and the V trigger into critical art with just 2 bars of
But you have to hit confirm.
Right, but then you have to be able to crouching medium kick into
Right, that's the character.
Yeah, so. Exactly.
Yeah, I think she's very strong, but you have to be at that level.
Right, exactly. So.
Yeah, man. Well, there you go. I don't know if there's anything else to say about this.
No.
Got anything else?
No. I think that's it right there. Okay. I mean, it's fascinating to me. One of the reasons why I reacted so funny to this poll is because I really never thought about it. That's how Japan rated things was based off of results. So, yeah.
Thanks for the question.
And what's interesting about it too is because even within our own view of tier list, I still think there's 2 ways to do it, right? Because there's the overall like. These 2 match up 5, these 2 match up 6, and then you score the total of the person who has the highest, which is like, but then there's also tournament viable tier lists, which can change it drastically. Like Cammy, like let's say it was still that Cammy beat Dhalsim in Super Turbo. It's not, but back when we used to believe it was like, 7-3 Cammy or whatever like that, that would knock Dhalsim's points down,
right?
But nobody's using Cammy, right? Like, so it didn't matter. So there's a difference between tournament viability and You know.
Well, so I think Zangief is actually a good example of this because I think there are quite a few matchups that he goes even with and even wins.
Yeah.
But I think he loses to characters that are good.
Yeah.
Like almost all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like he loses to those characters. So does it matter that he beats Laura? There's like one Laura. Like, does that matter?
Right. If it's not banned.
Right. Yeah. But he gets dunked by G. He gets dunked by Birdie, and those characters are everywhere right now.
Right. Exactly.
And that sucks, right? So as a Geef, are you going to make it through a tournament without facing one of them, or Menat, or Guile, or what? I mean, it's probably not.
Yeah, that's the whole tournament
so that's the tournament viability thing.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Okay. Alrighty then. We got some FGC news.
There's just a little bit to talk about. There was a Samurai Showdown patch that apparently, people say, I haven't tried it, improved the netcode.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to try that yet, but I'm really happy right now. They're doing a good job communicating.
That's
Kaiser on Twitter has been keeping updated. They put out the patch notes and
Right.
stuff, and I think they've also publicly said that they're not going to patch the game balance-wise until after Evo.
Oh, have they said it?
They actually want to see. Yeah, I think they said it like they came into like the Samurai Showdown Discord and like let them know or something like that.
That's awesome.
So they want to wait till Evo.
Shout outs to them.
And I mean, one thing that I'm worried most about it right now is I'm scared we're gonna see 6 Genjuros in top 8.
Yeah.
Like that
it's
character.
Gonna be like Genjuro, Tam.
And then there's gonna be one Nako.
Right, some weirdo,
randomly
yeah.
there's this one Nako.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, what the hell is going on? You know.
But I think it's very smart to not do balance patches. The game just came out too recently before Evo to make significant changes.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
like even if there's clearly some balance issues, but even still, just play it out now, change things in a couple months.
I seriously want to know which of the balance designers there just had the worst Kyoshiro experiences of his life, because Kyoshiro makes me so sad, dude.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah. but yeah. But what were we talking about? What was the balance?
So there
patch.
was there was a netcode patch.
That's right. Yeah,
didn't touch the balance. That's great to hear that they won't touch the balance until Evo.
I actually like. For me, my netcode experience hasn't been awful, but they said that it works better in the team battle than it does in the regular one, and I've been mostly playing the team battle online.
You mean the team battle, the casual match?
Yeah, casual match, but you can set it up to be 3v3 or 5v5, right? So I've been setting that. I think I mentioned. Did I mention it last time?
Yeah,
I
told
did.
me.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So there you go.
Man, I watched poor Sajam try the game out today. I was watching his
stream.
Oh,
was that the first time he played it?
Yeah, he just downloaded it.
Oh, interesting.
And he like went through the training mode, and then people in the chat were helping him out, figuring things out. And he was like, "All right, I think I want to try playing." And he goes into ranked, and he went into casuals first, and he tried to find a match, and it said no match found. And he pressed the button. He said no match found. And he pressed the button. It said no match found. And he just kept doing it. Right. It got to the point where I was like, did you get the latest patch?
Right,
are you connected to the right thing? But no, he was, and it just took forever. And then when it happened, he played like one game, and it was terrible, and he just couldn't find it. To be frank, that has not been my experience.
Right.
My experience has been that while the netcode isn't the best, it also hasn't been the worst. And I typically have been able to find matches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, for me, I'm just inviting people, so like I haven't really had to experience that
Fair
much.
Enough.
So that kind of sucks. But I mean, the crazy thing about it is the online experience is very, very reminiscent of Street Fighter 4. Remember, where if you have 2 options for ranked, go find a match or create one and wait for someone to join you. And if nobody does one, they don't show up on the other one. So if everybody's going to find a match, no one's creating it. And it was a terrible system in 4. There was just a lot more players.
Right.
So when the one time I did play ranked on Samcho, I did the same thing. I was like, try to find nothing. All right, fine, I'll host a match. And then I started getting matches. Because I was like, why is this so much like Street Fighter 4? And someone's like, well, it was developed by Dimps, right? And they made Street Fighter 4.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that.
Yeah, and I was like,
okay, I didn't connect it, but that's true.
Okay. So, yeah, I was surprised that it was so similar to how it was before. So, and it's not a good system. It's not a good system.
But I'm glad to hear that it improved at least a little bit.
Yeah.
That's cool. Other game news. Have you played Teppen?
I have.
Okay.
So what was interesting is I played it once.
Teppen is a card game put out by Capcom. Well, licensed by Capcom.
Came out of nowhere, right? It was just literally like some people were playing it online. And they were like, what are these games that these people are playing? And then at Comic-Con, they're like, we have a new card game. It's called Teppen. And everyone's like, wait, what'd you call it?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Like, wait, why would you call it Teppen?
I don't know. Does it mean something? Do you know, actually?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither.
I have no idea. But, like, what a... I mean, then good-ass Teppen memes were coming out.
Too
yeah,
obvious.
it's
Too
just
obvious.
like, come on. It's,
Teppen.
Now, the thing is, I played it once. Oh, so they're saying Teppen means apex or the top or something like that.
Oh, okay, good to know. Thank you.
So I was sitting there playing it. I played just the very beginning. It immediately throws you into Ryu's story, and you play Ryu's story, right? And I unlocked him, and I played it, and I was like, I don't really get this. Like, I don't understand, like, the strategy and whatever like that. So Vicious, a.k.a. Jeremy,
For sure.
loves card games.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with card games. And so he's obsessed with Teppen.
Mm-hmm.
And so on Saturday in Alaska, we were just hanging out, and he was like, oh, dude, he's just playing it. Like, it's like me and Record Keeper.
Yeah.
He's like constantly playing it. And he's just like, I'm trying to get to this rank, and I'm doing it. And I'm like, okay, well, teach me how to play. So he sat down and taught me how to play it. In fact, I didn't even know I got all these card packs for free, so I could draw all these free cards at the start, right? And he was like, I need to watch you draw your cards. I need to watch you draw your cards. And I was like, okay.
He's
So
totally
I drew the cards, right? And I'm drawing the cards. He's like, you got 2 rare cards in one draw? What the hell is going on? You know, like, he was so, and he's like, that card is so good. Oh my, like, he was so into it. But the thing is,
Jeremy.
yeah, Jeremy's
Totally
But
enraptured.
like, he taught me how to play it. And now that I've looked at it and understood it a little bit more, I really think it's kind of a neat game.
I agree with you.
Oh, so you have played it then?
I have
Yeah, okay.
Teppen.
Because, like, the fact that the characters with the different colors they change the strategy so much. Like, Chun-Li is about shielding your characters from taking any damage, and Mega Man is about just giving your units health. Of course, they're both green, so you can swap them around, but it just depends on what their super is and stuff like that.
Yeah, each character has its own super.
Yeah, but the red is for attack, black is for this weird sacrificing health thing. That's the one that I don't understand the most. The black decks are...
I mean, these are like the same colors that have been used in like a...
Right.
Like the
Purple
same.
is like the control deck, right, and everything. I mean, obviously, I'm very new to card games. And it's interesting, too, because one of the things that I thought was fascinating is that if you use more than one color, so you get 10 mana bar, and some cards cost 7 mana to play and stuff like that. You got to wait till your mana bar fills up, and then it gets to 7. You can play a 7 card, right? And you're like, cool. But if you pick 2 colors in your deck, it drops to a maximum of 5. So if you play,
I didn't even know that.
So if you play a deck with only with 2 different colors, it drops it to 5.
I didn't know.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, but that's still viable. There's some people who play black decks with healing and damage. So they have the green, so it's a green-black deck, and they just don't put any 7 cards in there. And all they do is damage themselves, heal themselves, damage themselves, heal themselves, and then, like they said, it's like really scary too. It's like one of the strongest ones. I mean, it can be pay to play, just like everything else, unless you want to just stick with the crappy cards that you have and just hope you keep getting better cards. I mean, I've decided to start creating my own Ryu deck just to see what happens. I create my own Ryu deck, and I'm just getting destroyed by the computer Mega Man.
Okay.
I can't fight him at all. I'm like, what the? So my deck creation is ass now. But, you know, so it's really interesting just trying to figure it out, because I'm like, yo, this card is so good, and I put it in my deck, but it's like a 6, and I never, like, it gets into my stack, and I never can use it.
Right.
Because
you just don't want to wait that long.
And I'm getting attacked, and I'm like, crap, I gotta defend. So you put Dan there, and he's like a 3, and he sucks, and it's actually kind of neat.
I like the resource management is about time and how much health you're willing to give up or put a card out there. I think that's cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it a lot so far. I haven't played against any humans. I've beaten all the story modes for the characters to get all the
same here,
their card decks and whatever. And yeah, I think it's got some cool ideas. I think it's fun. And I've been kind of looking for like a replacement for Hearthstone.
Oh, right. How long did a Hearthstone match last?
Longer.
Yeah, because this is the most appealing thing about Teppen.
Yeah.
Is that a match is like 5 minutes long, and that's like it.
Yeah.
And so you don't feel like you're.
It's like very time based.
Yeah.
So rather than in Hearthstone, which is the resource is like a little bit about time because there's a limit, but that's not the primary resource that you're dealing with. So it can take a long time. And there's some card actions that just themselves take a long time. Discover a new set of cards. Okay, that takes time. Like, it just takes a while.
Yeah.
And in this game, everything's fast.
Yeah, that's because, like, when Jeremy was playing, it's literally just like, he played a match. Okay, he played a match. Okay, he played a match. Okay. Yeah. And he's just, like, constantly playing, and I feel like that's really appealing about it. So, because it's like, it's easy to squeeze in a match of Teppen when you're standing in line for something or something like that.
I mean, I've been looking for a game that I can play while taking a dump, or I was gonna say but not or while on the elliptical machine.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, anything you say after that would have been wrong with
and I haven't had one in a while because I got tired of how frequently Hearthstone changes. I mean, if you're somebody who's into the scene, maybe it's not like too big of a deal. But for me, who's just half-assed about it, I can't be bothered to like get a new set or whatever every 3 times a year or whatever it is. I just don't want. I don't care.
What's interesting about it?
There's too many mechanics in that game that became too gambly for me. So.
Right. There's no pause on it, even when you're playing the computer. There's that. No, even if you hit the forfeit button, it keeps playing in the background. Yeah. So it's very weird.
It's just time, dude.
When you play against the computer, you can't pause your game. I thought that was kind of weird.
Keep going.
Yeah, but one of the things, if you do play the game, just realize they don't tell you this, and it was really crazy, but you can tap the cards and they give you all... When I first played it, I didn't even know you could do that, so I was just like, what am I even doing?
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then Jeremy's like, tap the card, and if there's like a yellow text, you can tap that, it describes it. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's well made.
They should have put that in the thing. But, I mean, one time I was playing the black deck with the dragon, Nergigante, I think it was, and I got stuck with 5 action cards that were sacrifice your unit.
Okay.
And I had no units on the board. I didn't know what to do. Like, you can't discard any. I literally couldn't make any moves. And I was just sitting there and I was like,
I don't know.
Am I just dead? And like, I was. Like, I couldn't do anything.
Huh.
I wasn't sure if there was a way. I mean, so maybe someone in the chat knows.
Trash one? I don't know.
I would love it if you could trash a card.
I have no idea.
But yeah.
Interesting question.
Yeah, I literally got stuck, and I was like, did I just get murdered by a trap here? Oh, you just surrender. You just surrender. Okay.
Don't have that many action cards, buddy.
Yeah, I know, right? It was the default deck. It was during story mode that it happened, so I was like really sad.
I also think that the gameplay seems cool, but I like the graphics.
Dude, it's so beautiful.
A bunch of the characters are just portrayed really well.
Yeah.
It's not animation per se. It's thank you. It's really cool. Like, here's a great picture of Ryu.
Yeah.
There's a cool art of Ryu. Here's cool art of Chun-Li and Mega Man. It's just, there's a lot of it. It's really cool.
It's just, the sad part is I saw someone, the tweet was coming eventually. It was like, the graphics are so good, why can't they make Street Fighter look like this? It's 2D art.
Yeah,
it's 2D art, dude. Like, yeah, the 2D art is animated in some ways, but it's still just bending and moving 2D art. I was just like, come on. But it looks beautiful. It's really a pretty game. Does, yeah. Although Mega Man looks kind of weird.
They just drew him a little jankily. Like, it's a nice drawing of that design.
I don't know why his eyes look like that.
His eyes are weird. He has little Popeye arms, even more pronounced than typically. Like
and like his body is like a weird disc for some reason.
It's just like a kind of funky design. But assuming that's his design, he looks good.
Yeah. Exactly. So. But yeah, it's fun. It's fast. I'm enjoying it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to play it a little bit more, and I need to figure out how to stream it. I need to talk to Justin and like Max or somebody and find out how they're streaming it, because I kind of want to stream that. Because I also want to start streaming some of my FFRK stuff. Because
that's a good idea.
Well, the reason why I never did it before is because there was a lot of like grinding things that I was doing.
Okay.
But so there's these things called Magicites in the game. Yeah. There's 3-star Magicites, 4-star Magicites, and 5-star Magicites. Right, I haven't been able to beat any of the 5-star Magicites. I just cannot beat. They just destroy me, right?
Wow.
So the 3 ones, easy, right? 4-star ones, I've gotten to the point where I can beat them all consistently, very quickly. I'm finally tackling the 5-star ones. I finally beat my first 5-star Magicite, and going through all of them is actually kind of entertaining, and people in the chat would be able to give advice. So this would actually be something worth streaming.
Sounds cool, man.
Instead of me coming up and going, look at me, grind for my crystals. All right, I'm done. All right, I'll see you guys later. But like actually fighting against the 5-star Magicites might actually be cool. So I need to figure out how to stream from my phone. I know that there's like lightning to HDMI cables out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think that you can go for your TV, so I'll figure that out. So if I can do that.
Unsure.
The first 5-star Magicite I beat was Phoenix because I got Bartz's Awakening. So, yeah, I mean, the game is so much just about the weapons that you get. Because you get these things that are called soul breaks. They're like limit breaks in Final Fantasy VII. And the game is so much about power creep. Like, every time they introduce a new kind of soul break mechanic that's just wildly super powerful. But if you just never got any of the weapons, you're stuck in Sadland for a while. And it's taken me a while before I finally pulled some good stuff because I just don't spend any money on the game, right?
There's like low drop rates.
Low enough, but it's not like super unfair drop rates. Like you get a free daily draw, and people on the Discord have posted like, "Oh my god, I got this on the day." Like the thing that makes Record Keeper, in my opinion, so appealing for me to play and for everybody else is it's really not unfair. Yeah. And there's just something interesting about it that the less unfair it is, the more people actually spend money on it.
That makes
you know
total
what
sense.
I mean? Because it doesn't feel like I have to.
It makes total sense.
It makes it so that you want to. Right? Because, I mean, like I said, I've barely spent any money. Most of the money I've spent is somebody just being like, here's some money to draw because I just want to support you.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it through at Record Keeper.
Okay,
awesome, sure.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll do that, and I'll sometimes get good items that way. But I'm still able to beat a lot of these things if I just make my team right and stuff like that. So, I do want to stream that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, oh, man. Yeah, it is such a love letter to the Final Fantasy series. It's all FF music. It's all you do is hear FF music
nice.
all day.
That's
It's
good
just
music.
so good. God, it's so good. Okay.
Well, that's all I had.
Yeah, I don't really have much else. I did start Celeste.
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah.
Did you ever play that?
I did. I played a lot of it.
Did you beat it and everything?
I beat, like, the B-sides and
Oh,
everything.
okay. Dang. Okay. Dude, that game is great.
Yeah, I know. That's why when I remember talking with you about this, and I was like, "You haven't played Celeste?"
Yeah, I played that,
very
and
good
it's man, the physics and the mechanic, like the way that they design the game is just like it's game design 101. I feel like they just did it so smart because in a game where you are gonna die that much, you come back so
You're just
fast.
there.
It's like back, right? Not only that, but obviously it's very screen based. Mm-hmm. So if you get past this section, you only need to start from here. You get past this section, you only start from here. Like, I talked about this when I was playing Mario Maker, the original one. I haven't got the second one yet, but because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my life. I might wait till after Evo to get that.
Okay.
But, like I was streaming it, people were giving me their stages to try, and then someone gave me this ridiculous stage that was like, you just have to do crouch jumping the whole time as Big Mario, and you can't not be Big Mario, and then sometimes you get stuck when you accidentally stand up, and then that's it, because it's only one block wide, and you do this whole long, and it's just like, it was so much work to get past this section, and then the second section was a maze that could lead you to dead ends where you had to reset. And I was like, I put the controller down, like, look, you put the maze first. Then
that's on purpose, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, if
they
you...
did that on purpose, for sure.
I think so, yeah. And I was like, if you want a good game design, you put that maze part first because that's not hard, that's just trial and error, and then you deal with the hard part. But the first part, you can make it past it, no problem ever again.
I mean, I agree with you, but I think there are people who like the weird stuff.
But that is bad game design.
I don't like
and
it.
what the greatest thing about Celeste is that they do that. If it's super hard up front, the second half is much easier of that section. If the first half is easy, and the second half is... But they don't ever do, like, this ridiculous hard thing and then this ridiculous hard thing.
You gotta get to the B-side, my friend.
I did one of the B-sides, and they're so fast that it's not that bad. Although the B-side that I did, I died like 300 times.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yeah. Of course.
But the funny thing is, like, it's weird because people, like, when they're watching me play, I'm so... Like, I've been born and raised on 2D platformers. A lot of people are like... You're making it through a lot of these screens, like, really fast. They're like, I'm really shocked at how fast you're making. I'm like, dude, I was born and raised on this shit. And, and I say this every single time. 2D platforming is just so much better than 3D platforming. I just don't think that there's any there's any comparison. So
I watched the speed run for the game at GDQ.
I gotta watch that after I'm done with the game.
Yeah, you should wait because
there's techniques that I don't know about.
Correct.
My chat has told me. So
Yes.
yeah, dude, that cat. Did you see that cat adventure game? Someone said that there's like this game where you play a game.
I know what you're talking
There's no action. There's no violence. It's just exploration. But you pick one of 9 cats and you just try to figure out why the humans have disappeared.
It sounds cool. It's cool.
I was
Yeah.
like, this may be what all of my video gaming has led me to.
Yeah, Comic-Con is this weekend. I'm not going. Are you going?
No.
Yeah.
No. Last time I went to Comic-Con was such a pain. Ugh.
I've never been to Comic-Con, and while I'd like to go, it just sounds like such a hassle that I don't know when I will, if I will. Yeah.
Although, nowadays, it would be much easier to get to Comic-Con than ever before because at least we can take the train. At least we can take the train.
Well, you've been able to take the train.
Well, I mean, not like way back during Evo West days. There was no train to go down there, I don't think.
The first time I took the train was when I was in college.
Oh, really?
And that was in
okay.
probably 2004.
No, Anime Expo happened already. Comic-Con has not happened. Oh, okay, so maybe there was a train. Because the first time I ever went was for Evo West, when Evo West was at Comic-Con. Which is always a really funny story as well, because that was where we had the boxing ring in the middle of the thing. But they also filmed a bunch of extra footage for the Donkey Kong Fistful of Dollars documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you watch one of the special features, like they're interviewing one of the guys at San Diego Comic-Con, you see Ricky Ortiz walking in the background.
That's cool.
It's actually really funny. But, dude, it took me 6 hours to drive down there. It was the worst drive I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
It was the worst drive. And I remember, too, because that was also the weekend that, right before that the final Harry Potter book came out. 'Cause I remember when I checked into my hotel, I just grabbed the book and I just read the rest
Yeah,
of the thing.
okay.
So, yeah.
One time, this drive down to San Diego took me 7 hours, but
Whoa. What was the reason for that?
just, who knows?
Jesus
Traffic.
Christ.
I don't
Ugh.
know. Anyway, so no, I'm not going to Comic-Con. I don't know that I expect any news specifically. Like, what would you expect news for in fighting game land?
In fighting game land, I thought there was something that was supposed to be announced at Comic-Con, but I can't remember now. So, I mean, at this point, I think it'd be silly with Evo only 2 weeks away to announce any fighting game stuff at Comic-Con. So, I'm just imagining.
Except, oh yeah, Marvel 4 is coming out.
Yeah.
Come on.
People need to stop putting that hope into your head.
Come on.
I mean, Flyrant, I think we all do. We all hope that there will be a new Guilty Gear announcement at you. At least I do. At least
Oh,
I
who
do.
wouldn't hope for that?
So,
That sounds
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, maybe some Spawn stuff for MK, but again, I think you're right to say that just wait for Evo. It's just in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
Spirit
Show your stuff
of the
there.
CPT, again, we talked about what we predicted would be announced at EVO in a previous episode. That was one of the viewer 5.5s that we got. So you can check that out on YouTube.com, where we've been also uploading a lot more content. So
We made it to 30,000 subscribers.
Oh, did we? Oh,
Woo!
shoot, nice. We should
That
talk
just
about
happened like today or yesterday.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Thanks to everybody. I mean, we have actually been taking the channel more seriously, so thanks for
I put up the Scorpion video finally.
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
great. Yeah.
And then I'm doing the next one on probably either Aaron Black or Cassie Cage. Those are two of the ones that I requested. And there's some interesting things I'm finding out about Cassie Cage that I'm sure most of the pros know, but these videos are designed to help you defend against them as a beginner.
Sure.
Like if you haven't sat down and studied Cassie Cage, this is how you fight her kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that
Same
sounds
thing with
great.
the Scorpion thing. And then I put up a new fighting game dictionary episode as
Also
well.
good.
So, yeah.
Thanks for the
Okazeme. Yeah.
love on the vlog.
Oh yeah,
Those are a lot of fun. I just get to, like in some cases I'm recording when I'm there and I'm like talking in like live, and sometimes I just like take a lot of footage and I'm like, well, I'll think about what to say later.
Right,
I just,
right,
like, put it over
yeah,
later.
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to make videos with my friends a lot, and I just stopped for no good reason. But
It's kind of rekindling.
yeah. Now I'm like, how come I haven't been doing this for like the last decade?
Dude, Rizal, I wanted it. My idea for the MK stuff came from the Tekken. I wanted to do that for Tekken.
Right.
Except, it just was too much. Like Tekken is just huge, and I just don't think that there's a good way to summarize defense against them. You know what I mean? As easily. So MK was like, wait, every character has like 9 strings.
Right.
You
It's
know,
much
so
more
I
manageable,
can do this. I can do this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It was cool yesterday that MK11 E-League Showdown. It was all women on it, which I thought was super cool.
And they even got Alumia to do commentary with it too. Yeah,
that was excellent. I watched some of it, not all of it because I was at jury duty. Oh yeah, I was at jury duty.
Did you get dismissed because you're a lawyer?
No, I just didn't get picked. So what they do is everybody who gets called goes into a big room. Mm-hmm. From that, they call 55 people at a time to go into the secondary room. And it's unlikely that you'll get chosen to be one of those 55. But I was, and I went upstairs with everybody else, and they give you numbers, and that number is the order that you'll be interviewed in.
Okay.
I got 53 out of 55.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
So it wasn't going to work. They just weren't going to get to me.
Right,
unless everybody else was rejected. Because as soon as they find 12 people plus 2 or 3 alternates, that's it. They don't need to continue. Okay. But it was very interesting that on Tuesday and Wednesday, because I had to come back, it was a 2-day process, so I watched the whole jury selection happen. And although I didn't get to see the trial at all, I thought it was very interesting myself to see the whole process. The last time I was up for jury duty, it was in a different county, and the process was different. So this was cool to see, the whole question and answer and yada yada. Wow. There were 2 other attorneys who got interviewed, and they both got rejected. So.
I mean, it was funny because my brother said the one time he did go to that process, he was kind of like you. He was actually kind of interested and excited to like maybe try to serve on the jury or whatever like that. And he went up there, and he was like, yeah, I'll be unbiased, I'll be fair or whatever, and they rejected him. So
sometimes they do.
Yeah, because they're not looking for that necessarily all the time.
Yeah. So. The DA, the prosecutor, was interviewing people, right? And each time he'd be like, hey, how are you doing this morning? How are you doing this afternoon? Mm-hmm. Whatever. And some of the people would be like, well, I'm here. And some people would be like, well, I needed to do work today. And some people would be like, I don't really want to be here. Like, it was all like that kind of thing. And at some point he was just like, look, I'm here. I know a lot of you people, you're not happy to be here. Is there anybody who is excited to be here? And I was like, yay! I didn't say it, but I was definitely like, actually waving my hand, and everybody just turned around. I'm in the back because I'm 53. Everybody turns around and just give me this like shake of the head.
Dude,
idiot.
You're Hermione. You're Hermione in Harry Potter. Like, can anyone answer this question?
And
everyone's like,
by the way,
can anyone else besides Hermione answer?
The complete opposite of my actual school experience. Complete opposite. But yeah, I was hoping to be picked, and it didn't work out.
That's funny.
But it was interesting to go through the process. Expensive, because I could have done a lot of work those 2 days.
Yeah, that's always
actually
the
very
thing.
Expensive.
But, that's always the thing.
That's how it goes.
That's the way it works. But it's part of the legal system.
It is, and I was happy to do it.
That's what we do. So
I didn't do a dab.
Have you ever dabbed before in your life?
Yes.
You have? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm surprised, actually. Were you drunk?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really remember. I might never have. This may be... It's hard to tell sometimes if my memories are reality or just
okay,
fiction.
Fair enough. Okay.
I don't know.
I can't picture you dabbing.
No?
No, I can't picture you dabbing. Will you dab for camera right now?
I won't. But specifically because I think it's funny not to.
No, come on. Oh, man. Okay. Anyways, anything else to say?
They don't pay you money, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. They certainly don't during the jury selection process. In LA County, they don't in many circumstances, even if you get picked to be on the jury. So if you're like, some employers just say that they'll pay you during that time, and some government employees, maybe all, I don't know, but definitely some government employers at least get paid to be on jury duty. Okay. But for most people, it's just time off.
So OG Geek says that he subbed...
But that varies by county and state, I should be clear.
He says he subbed to see you dab. Someone asked, how many bits for a dab?
Damn!
You did it?
Wow.
Yo, okay, all right. Good job, OG Geek. Look, there you go. All right.
Should I have waited?
No, that was just fast. You caught me by surprise. I didn't even see it. That is definitely becoming a moat now. No, I was kidding.
No, I mean, so there are some things that you get paid in. Regular jury duty is not, at least in LA County. But like I said, that varies by county and state. What? You don't think I do weird stuff? Like, who doesn't think that I do weird stuff? Is that an opinion that's shared?
Oh, man. Anyways, okay. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nope. I'm gonna go to the Mortal Kombat monthly that Beyond the Summit does.
Where's that at?
Basically that, I don't know, wherever they do their stuff. Somewhere east. Okay. Not too far.
Where did I put
But
this thing?
anyway, basically Brian Compton's new monthly. So I'm gonna go. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
That's all I got. When is Evo? 2 weeks?
Not this weekend, not the next weekend, but the following weekend.
Okay. So before that, as James said, we will do an Evo episode, but I guess that's still a couple weeks in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. All right. There was something that came in my head. I forgot, so it's okay. All right. Yes, there is no miscellaneous. That's why there's a question mark there. So
We just didn't have anything else to talk about.
I know. But we filled most of the time anyway.
We actually
so
filled
there
all
you
the
go.
time.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Yes,
right.
we will definitely be back on the Tuesday, barring something crazy.
Right,
But I just happened to be coming home from Vienna on one Tuesday.
Right.
And then have
Prime Day.
and Prime Day as well.
The Prime Day. The strike.
The walkout that the
Yeah.
workers are doing. We didn't want to strike.
Oh, and
people.
we haven't given away the card yet. So
Oh my
let's do
God,
that.
thank you very much for reminding us.
We haven't given away the card yet. So let's do that.
So tell me the story of this card.
It's just Jimmy just said you want to give something out, and like we're gonna do that. So
Sweet.
But Jimmy also mentioned that him and God, I always forget the full name. It's like B15SDM. Yeah, they are doing so they've done crazy joysticks. They did the Bedman joystick last
So
year.
cool.
So beautiful. A few years ago, they did the Soundwave joystick. If Shoegazer Jimmy wants to put up a link to pictures of those things in the chat, please do so. B15SDM. Yeah, if you want to put up links to some of the pictures of the old ones. But apparently, they're doing something. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jimmy, but they're doing something even extra crazy this year.
Oh yeah, the tournament's gonna be open bracket, of course. It's just a regular monthly.
Am I doing wrong? No, it is move out, right? Where's the pool? Where's the raffle thing? Ever since they changed this, I don't know how to find anything anymore. I haven't actually looked through the new thing, the crazy new MooBot.
Maybe community.
Oh, there we go. Giveaways. You can run giveaways through MooBot. Increase your engagement. Yeah, you can run.
That's a good question. Is the card only for U.S. citizens?
Ask Jimmy. Jimmy,
That's
you're
what
in the
I'm
chat. Typing a keyword in the chat. Okay, so that's. I'm just gonna do. I guess I'll do raffle like that. MooBot regulars have one chance to be drawn. Twitch subscribers have one chance to be drawn. Yes. Okay. Advanced options. Move the message. Okay.
Whoa, there's a lot of crap.
There's a
Wow.
lot. Okay, you know what? Forget the advanced options.
Yeah.
Create. So let's see. Okay, so we
PSN
have
card for U.S. only.
for US only. Okay, now instead of exclamation mark raffle, you're gonna need to type pound raffle to get in there.
He means hashtag raffle.
Hashtag raffle, I think. Because I don't see any entrance right now.
Wait, is it now that you do it?
I think so.
Doesn't that mean locked? No, is that the unlock
That's
symbol?
unlocked.
Yeah.
That's unlocked. Is there a refresh or something like that?
I don't know how this works.
Announce that the giveaway is open. Let's see if that showed up.
There's a lot of waffle raffles going on.
Oh, you know what the problem is right now?
Huh.
I know what the problem is. Hang on, guys. Stop the raffle. Stop the raffle. Stop the raffle.
Oh, I know what's going on. I
Yeah,
got it.
I'm on the jchensor
Yep.
channel. I'm on the jchensor channel. Yeah, that's my bad.
Y'all did it for no reason.
Yep. Sorry.
Hey Toshin, I just checked Twitter, and thank you for letting us know that there is a Teppen community Discord with tech info, decks, and resources, and so on. I'm going to retweet that right now. You can either just check at Toshin902 on Twitter for that.
I need your phone, David.
Or to go to Ultra David because I just retweeted it right now.
Okay.
Here you go.
Okay. Two-factor authentication, baby. All right. Giveaways. All right. Create a giveaway. Type in keyword in the chat. It'll be raffle.
Debated.
Create. All right. Let's see.
All right. What happens now?
Let's see if I type this in there. Yeah. Okay. It's going up. All right.
All right.
So type it in there. Hashtag raffle. And that will get you an entry in here.
What if Ultra Chen TV wins?
Dude, that happened to me. I literally, on my stream, was doing a raffle, and I typed in exclamation mark raffle to give an example, and I did the drawing, and I won. Oh, no. And everyone was like, rigged, and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say at this point, because clearly it's rigged.
All right, the numbers are still going up. We'll wait until we see them stall. Oh, jeez. It's going up fast.
Yeah, I'll say. Give everybody a chance. This is, again, if this is for US, PSN. If you do not own a PS4, or if you're not in the United States, don't enter. Be cool. Come on, be cool. Okay. Now let's see if this works too. Announce. Enter the giveaway. Yeah, there you go. I like how it kind of makes the Evo logo a little.
It kind of does.
Yeah. I mean, the Evo logo is very easy to end up making.
It's pretty simple,
so, I've seen like 90 Evo logos for other companies and stuff. So we're stagnating at about 121 entries. What do you say at 125 we do the drawing?
Sure.
We've got 122.
Uh-oh.
We're stagnating now at 123. If we don't get to 125, I'm spending it myself.
It's happening.
Oh, there we go. 125. All right.
126.
Okay. Do you want me? I need to put this on the screen.
127. Right? Yeah, you should.
Just to make sure that people know that we are not.
There's no shenanigans.
Futzing around here.
So bam.
Go.
All right. And will it say the name right there?
I'm hoping so. Cause
on like waiting for a draw, hopefully?
I'm hoping that's what it does. That's my assumption right
Yeah,
now.
that seems likely.
I think that's a safe assumption, right?
Let's do it.
Okay, you ready?
All right.
We're going to draw the entry. Drum roll. It's Nico21.
Congrats.
Nico21, are you in the chat?
Nico, are you a United Statesian? And do you own a PlayStation 4?
Oh, there he is. So, are you yes to both of those questions, Nico? It's the same responses every time.
I mean, I would say the same thing if I were one of them. So. U.S. citizen?
No,
I saw him in the chat.
I saw him in there, but I'm just wondering if he's U.S. citizen and owns a PS4 and wants the code.
Let us know, Nico.
Type more, Nico. Yes, okay, there you go. Congratulations. I will send you a DM and on Twitch, so keep an eye out for that. I will do that as soon as the show is over.
For a $25 PSN gift card, courtesy of Shoegazer Jimmy.
Yep, courtesy of Shoegazer Jimmy. So
thanks,
shout out
buddy.
to Jimmy again. So there you go.
Shout outs to you. Much obliged.
All right. So, I should probably...
What are you going to use it for? Huh?
Oh, that's a good question. Wow.
What are you going to use it for, Nico21?
You're really putting him on the spot right now, huh?
I'm just curious. I mean, it's theirs either way. It's just... What's it going to be used for? I
guess I can... Manage giveaway. How do I end this? Oh, here we go. Lock. Okay, it's locked. It's closed. And archive. All right. Giveaway is gone. There we go. All right. Probably buy another ST character. Maybe a Street Fighter character or something.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because Super Turbo, you don't need character. Anyways, okay. There you go. Wow, there's a lot of crazy controls.
Yeah, it got complicated out here.
Mobot is like super complex all of a sudden. I don't like this. I don't like this. It's too confusing.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier, Shoegazer Jimmy and from B15 SDM will show something never done before at EVO.
According to Shoegazer Jimmy himself, never done before.
What could that mean?
I don't know. You know what? It's too ambitious. I don't think he could do it.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna give him a challenge. It's kind of on the Soundwave vein. But what if they made a joystick for every Constructicon, and then you could put them together to make either a super joystick or a super robot or something?
What if the
like
joystick
that?
itself was just comprised? It was just you could just change things out easily. I mean, this has always been a dream of mine.
Yeah, of course.
To have a stick where you could just easily change out the parts, right?
I've always wanted one that was kind of like those super number puzzles where you could slide the buttons around and change the layout. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, so... Anyways, okay.
But whatever it is, I'm looking forward to it because it's always cool stuff.
And shout-outs to Rekaby for the subscription.
Thank you.
Here's my Street Fighter 2 cheer.
Much obliged.
What was the third strike sound for? Was that for...
Followers, I think.
Oh, was that followers? Oh, okay. There you go. All right, guys.
All right, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. We will see you guys next week on Tuesday and the regular scheduled time unless something crazy happens. Yeah. But, hopefully everything will be normal. All right, guys.
Ooh,
Talk to you later.
Me. I'm excited. Me.
God.
Me.
Look at me. Oh, wait, hang on a second. I forgot. Where is it? There
Boyd
it is. Yeah. Oops. You're not hearing it direct feed. Turn it up a little bit. I'm going to start over again. I almost made a bird emote. And you remember that meme out there with the crow that yells over the bird and the bird looks really annoyed? Okay. I was thinking about making that our emote, and I think that would actually be kind of fun.
That's cool.
Alright. I'll show you in a little bit.
Cool.
Alright, see you guys. Oh, someone already made that emote. Look at that. There you go. Never mind.
Nice.